Welcome to the Tuesday, January 27th City Council meeting. Mr. Montgomery, roll call, please.
Yes, Mayor. Mayor Gilman.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
Here.
Councilmember Rule.
Here.
Councilmember Whitman is currently absent, and Councilmember Meng.
Here.
Thank you. And would you please lead us in the pledge, Mr. Montgomery?
Yes,
Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and Council and community, welcome. Please rise. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. And then an approval of the agenda. Let me make one tiny comment about the agenda, which is not here, but something that we had discussed prior, and that is our intention is to go into the closed session at 8:30, wherever we are at in the agenda, and the intention of having a closed session not earlier is that we think this one may go a while. We didn't want to keep people waiting. So at 8:30 or close to that time, we'll adjourn, but we have set aside next week for a special special session if we miss anything not on today's agenda. Just to be clear, that's our intention for today. If everybody agrees to that, that's the hope. But any other changes to the agenda?
No, I'll move approval.
Second that. Anything else? Nope. Great. Okay. We're good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Super. All right. Any commission reports?
None received, Mayor.
Thank you. City manager's report.
Gosh, Mayor, I am a little bit flat-footed this evening, so I will give a bonus one next time. Apologies.
Okay. Deal. We accept. All right. So now we'll go to public communications and comments before we get to the consent calendar. So I have, please come to the podium, Larry Steingold, Eric Ryder, and then Peter Laramendi.
Good evening.
Wait, sorry, one thing, sorry.
I was just wondering if you wanted to reintroduce or reiterate that this is for things not on the agenda.
Sorry, yes, these are for items not on the agenda. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rule.
Well,
I'm
welcome
assuming
all back.
everybody's an old hat here, but
Yes.
that's not correct. Okay, nope, you're right. Good point. Thank you.
Good evening, Chief. A lot of people have been talking about the electric bikes and more activity. And while the last police chief was emphasizing education, more education and less enforcement, a lot of people in town think that it may be time to recalibrate and increase the enforcement and possibly add and discuss, put on the agenda laws that were promulgated in Santa Barbara that would help increase, and maybe add things like require liability insurance within city limits, require registration of bikes or licensing within city limits. At least something that is making the less educated from the past chief more acceptable and more knowledgeable. Also, if you can make the forms on the website fillable for PDFs, all of them, it would be a great help because not everybody has a printer and wants to type it. So if that could be done within a reasonable amount of time, like a month, it'd be nice. Thank you.
Mr. Steingold, can I just ask, fillable forms for what area of the website? All of the above. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Eric Ryder, please, Peter Laramendi, and then Michael Hutchinson.
Good evening, Council.
Hello.
We must immediately address the crisis surrounding City Manager Ben Harvey's deeply flawed tenure and the numerous lawsuits it's generated in response. This Council has a critical, time-sensitive opportunity to mitigate significant future legal and fiscal harm. I implore you not to miss the chance to take decisive action now. The most prudent path forward is to grant Mr. Harvey immediate leave without severance. This swift action would serve a dual purpose. One, fiscal mitigation. The funds saved by withholding severance can be directly applied toward the substantial legal costs the city has and will incur due to his conduct. Two, legal de-escalation. His immediate removal may help alleviate the intense ill will his presence generates amongst the various plaintiffs. This gesture could potentially soften their demands, resulting in a significantly more favorable financial outcome for the city than otherwise possible. After all, there's really nothing left to lose, that is, except what we need to lose. Mr. Harvey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Peter Laramendi and then Michael Hutchinson, please.
Hello,
Hello.
Mr. Mayor, council members. I wanted to bring to your attention, and I'm sorry if you've already heard it, but the light at Fox and Ojai Avenue, if you're turning left on the green light, this has been addressed?
No, keep
Oh,
going.
okay.
I'm following you
Okay,
mentally.
apologies. Yeah, so if you're turning left, so going west down Ojai Avenue,
Mhm.
the light turns green, and pedestrians, when they press on the button, they assume that they're able to go, but the pedestrian, whatever, walking figure doesn't come up, and it comes up after the light turns red. So there's serious confusion between drivers, pedestrians, and it's causing an issue. My second thing is I hope there's some sort of network analysis that's going to go into traffic down Ojai Avenue. I don't know if that means possibly reducing the amount of crosswalks. I know, but there's just so many crosswalks and you've got so many people crossing. And then also on Montgomery for both north and south, people turning left, that causes a lot of issues too. So some sort of network analysis that where you can put timing of how many vehicles and what have you. And then I also want to second Mr. Steingold's comment about young folks on e-bikes. I have thousands of experiences of hours on a bicycle, and seeing those kids, it's terrifying, and they're gonna get hit eventually, regardless if they have helmets on. They're going 25 miles an hour. So, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Laramendi. Just to say, we have initiated that we'll be starting a safety committee that will address those things, but every single thing you brought up, we have discussed at some level, and I know there are issues. Thank you. Appreciate it. Michael Hutchinson, please.
Hello. So I wanted to indulge in a thought experiment. That I've been told that the trolley has been funded for the Route B for almost a year now, but we haven't seen any action yet. So we're wondering what's up with that. And then we had a former, I don't know what his title was, but Anthony was very good at getting grants, and I understand that he got $900,000 in 1 year. And now we're at the level where we may not have enough funding to reach the threshold to get those grants again. And apparently the person that's been replacing Anthony does not have skills or background in that area. And I was thinking of a thought experiment. What if somebody were trying to sabotage? And I know that's silly, and I don't think anyone is. But if someone were to try to sabotage the trolley, what actions would they take? Well, they may, through passive neglect, allow the funding to die on the vine. They may, fire or put out to pasture the most effective member of the council that was getting these grants and, loved by the community, and so on and so forth. So I'm not accusing anyone of that, but yet the actions are there that appear to follow that agenda. So anyway, also I wanted to put second the voices on the e-bikes. It's terrifying. My wife says, sometimes you see what appears to be a 5-year-old kid going very fast, and you take their life into your hands trying to avoid them, and others too. And so if there's something model that Santa Barbara has done, it's not only good to do a study, but let's have action as fast as possible and not have like a tragedy and then react to it. Let's be proactive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. That will also be an item that will move more on. We've moved on it, but there's more to be done. Any comments online, Mr.
Mayor, we currently have no raised hands, but let's tell our Zoom participants that we are in general public comment period.
Thank you.
And just give them one more second to raise their hand. And we can move on.
Thank you, and welcome to Mr. Whitman. Yep, great. So we're on to the consent calendar. Does anybody want to pull anything? I just have one comment that I want to make, and that is attachment B, the disbursement by category, and item number 1. I love it. It's so nice to see things categorized that way. So thank you for that. So you would like to pull number 1? Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
I'd like to pull number 4,
Okay.
just for a quick question.
Yeah. Anything else? So how about a motion to accept 2, 3, and 5?
So moved.
Okay. Super. You want to call the roll on that one?
Sure, Mayor.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Lang,
Yes.
Councilmember Rule,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman. Yes. Mayor Gilman,
Yes.
Councilmember May.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Let's start with number 1.
So if we could just allow Ms. Cho to join us. She's
Thank
on
you.
her way up. Thank you very
Welcome.
much.
She's not allowed to respond, though, till she gets her name placard there in place. Otherwise, it's all moot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Payne.
Again, so I didn't really have the time to look over things.
Okay.
So I just have a couple questions now.
Super.
I'm just curious with Benny K Enterprises for portable restrooms for Libby Bowl. So is that, obviously it's something we take care of, that doesn't have to do with the people that rent the bowl? It's not their responsibility?
Can you, what's your page number at the bottom right there?
8.
Okay, thank you.
It's the third item.
Thanks. Okay.
So I can jump in
Okay,
and
perfect.
answer this. No, it is not a contractual responsibility. It is an issue we'd like to bring back to the council for consideration for the coming year's CIP. The the restrooms that exist at Libby Bowl are inadequate as far as their capacity. And I'm sure probably a lot of you are familiar with that. And we and there's a reason we now know this is, we've been kind of trying to figure out what's going on, but the reason is they tie into a lot of the local businesses. They don't have their own dedicated main line is one of the main problems. So we need to embark upon a significant plumbing upgrade at that area. So knowing that we have this issue and knowing that we get overloaded, we have been contracting for portable restrooms for certain larger events, but just because we just aren't able to meet the capacity.
Okay.
But we will come back to you with a plan on how to fix that permanently.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Sure.
And then on page 10, check number 79957. Carsoft, the technology corporation for the centralized community calendar. What, I know that we spoke briefly about a calendar, so is this what this is covering?
Yes,
Okay.
this is a new community calendar we're going to be unveiling shortly. It's also referred to as Be With. And it's going to take the place of what is on our city website currently. We are going to be inviting agencies and nonprofits to participate in it. And the goal is we're just trying to show all the city events without showing the commercial events. If you want to know about a meeting, if you want to, and it's a cleaner, more clear display.
So when you say people participating, they would come forward with information on various
They
topics
would,
or various events?
they'd receive an
in this?
invitation from us, so take the Ojai Valley Land Conservancy, and they would have permissions to send over their events. We have an administrator, it'd be James or Christy, and they would review it, upload it, and then boom, their event is online. So we're just really trying for a more centralized, streamlined approach so that people can find community events on the city calendar more easily.
Okay.
And then Mr. Hahn's prepared to show what that looks like. We may not get to that tonight. If we would, that would be great, but it would be something that you'll see as a website improvement and communication.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah, please.
Is this an acquisition?
Yes,
The warrant represents, it's not
Yes.
like something we're gonna be paying.
this is not a monthly subscription. Yeah, good question.
Okay, there was something, I think a lot of this I could just, what was it? Okay, page 18 at the bottom with Matt and Taylor's company. This is the first time I've seen the encampment resolution grant manager for $11,377. So I'm
Yes,
just
so
curious.
as part of the city's ERF grant, we have a line item for legal expenses, and our assistant city attorney has been working on the legal aspects of the application, namely things like dealing with the DMA, with Dignity Moves, also the bid process and procedure, those types of things.
So, and then on the next page, it's just again, just $1,705. So this is something, is there like a fee each?
Two different entries related to that. I can tell you, we're planning on, at the March 10th meeting, council asked for an update on the project, and that's when we're bringing back the bids for ratification. I was planning on in that meeting kind of giving an overview of where things stand,
Okay.
Money's spent, that type of thing to satisfy that direction.
And then in that list I'd asked before, you'll have things that are reimbursable through the grant? Okay,
Yes,
so that'll be listed.
absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All
I'd
right.
actually like to probably drag you through, not you, all the council.
Excuse me, no.
Sorry, but
I
no,
know.
just the
Your scrutinizing
The-
eye is what he meant.
Right.
the boring categories
Okay.
and the
Mhm.
amounts, just
Absolutely.
that we have, so you can
Thank
see
you.
where that's coming from.
Okay, perfect.
Thank
I'm
you.
good. Thank
Anything
you.
else? Yes.
Yeah, and I'm loath to bring myself up here, but I'm going to. On page 14, it says Leslie Rule, and there's my reimbursement, and it says travel expense reimbursement. It actually was for the full conference. It wasn't just travel expenses. So
Okay.
I just want to point that out. I don't care if it gets changed, but I was very careful and
Oh,
budget
thanks.
sensitive.
Mhm.
And
Appreciate that.
only charged the city for a flight to New York, just
Okay.
so you know. So
Thanks.
thank you.
I appreciate that. Ms. Burgess, should we have one item for all three of these that come up, and also do we need to take public comments on the three that were pulled out of
I
consent?
would recommend taking public comment. I also generally would recommend voting on each of them separately in
Great.
case the vote may be different on each one.
Fair enough. So let me start off with any public comments on the warrants item number 1. All right, then let's go to a vote. Oh, we have a motion to accept consent item number 1.
Sure. Yes, motion to accept.
Second on that.
Roll call, Mayor.
Thanks.
Councilmember Meng.
Yes.
Councilmember Rule.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
Yes.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yes, thanks. And then now item number 4, the posted speed limits.
Thank you.
Let's give, okay,
Hello.
Ms. Palmer's gonna speak from the, sure.
Thank you.
Turn.
Hi, Lindy.
Hi, Rachel.
So
Hello,
I just,
everybody else.
Hi.
I just had one quick question on this. I have Gridley as part of my district, south of Grand.
Yes.
And there were some questions that I received about why that wasn't included in the speed study. It doesn't look like it was included in any of these streets, and there were some people who noticed that cars speed through the area that's in the unincorporated part of town, north of Grand, but then they're still going fast south of Grand. And so I was wondering if there was anything that the engineers could offer about that, or anything you could offer about that.
So we didn't survey Gridley up in that location because we primarily focused on collector streets throughout the city, and that is not one of them. But it doesn't mean to say that we can't go back out there and do a speed survey.
Okay.
And we most certainly can.
Okay.
And if that's the direction of council, we'll just make it happen.
You're saying between like Grand and Main?
Yeah.
Okay, that people,
Yeah.
because it's straight.
Because
and
in the
speed.
avenue.
Yeah, I
High
mean,
Avenue.
it's confusing
Yeah.
because it's 35 north of Grand, and then I believe it's 30 south of Grand. And I know we don't have jurisdiction north of Grand, but people are still flying through, and there are families that live on Gridley and people that are out working in their yards, and so they're concerned about that speed.
So you're talking about between Ojai Avenue and Grand.
Yes, yeah, I know it's a
And
small stretch, but
it
it's
is.
it's a mighty stretch.
It's a mighty stretch. But we can certainly
Thank
have
you.
the traffic engineer go out and do a survey.
Great.
No problem.
We could also ask the chief to do a little couple of drive-bys.
We could,
Mhm.
or maybe a park.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Uh-huh.
Park.
It's true. That is a
Well, I
straight,
think
straight
people are
street.
thinking they're getting outside the city limits
Yep.
and
Yeah.
they just pedal to the
Mhm.
metal and just go,
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Anything else? Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
go,
a,
please.
question, and maybe it's more of a comment, but, and maybe this is more for staff, but we went through the first reading on this, and I have this recollection that we did want some tweaks to what was being proposed. And then I have a recollection that there were, some comments from the public. And so I just, when these things come back for a second reading, I would just love to see a little more description of what we talked about the first time around, and what the public said, and then, how we vote.
So like
Because it kind of looks like we're doing a redo on the first meeting, when really what we're doing is we're following up and affirming what we did at the first time around.
I'm
We
looking
can do
at
that.
page 55. No, I agree, that would be helpful. So like on page 55, the blue items were the either recommended changes or what we requested. So if you see Cuyama at Del Norte at being 20, we requested that. So that the highlighted is, I thought, at least part of the changes, but I agree with what you're saying. It would be nice to have the shortest narrative to say what.
And I guess one other comment following up on that is that I received some comments leading up to this meeting with people feeling like their comments weren't like being highlighted enough.
Mhm.
And so this would be a way for us to
Okay.
assure the public that, we're listening and it's part of our decision-making process.
I'll just add, if it's okay, just one caveat. We do action minutes by design because we want the video record to reflect what actually took place. We don't want to represent what somebody said. And I'm
I
going to be very
understand what you're
reticent to do that. So we'll take this as direction. I think we can talk about general themes that were discussed and general direction, but we don't want to quote people or try to get into specifics, because invariably when we do that, what we've seen, I know you guys remember this, some of you, somebody comes forward after you print the agenda packet. That wasn't what I said.
Understood.
Okay, we tried.
Even if it was page 55, the page I'm looking at, and if it said, recommendations were the following, council recommended the following, that would suffice.
Sure,
At least in
and I'm
parts.
taking this as general direction for
Mhm.
second reads in general.
Okay.
And just to be clear too, on page 55, those are the recommendations as per the study and in the ordinance, and also council's direction.
Right.
So, and the other thing that I'd like to add too is this is sort of just the beginning of us talking about real traffic solutions. And we've heard earlier this evening already about some of the things that we're looking into. The second meeting in February, you have a first reading of an ordinance for the formation of our new committee,
Right.
our commission. So I think that's going to be very helpful in addressing citizens' concerns, your concerns, our concerns, and PD, of course.
One tiny little logistics. Assuming this will pass, how long will it take for the new speed limit signs to go up?
30 days.
That's what I want to hear.
They're sitting in our yard waiting for installation.
Love
We have
it.
to wait for 30 days.
Thank you, ma'am.
Great job, Lindy. Oh my gosh, my brain. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Any other comments
Yeah.
on number 4?
Uh,
Any public comments on item number 4? All right.
And Mayor, no raised hands on Zoom.
Thank you, sir. I move to approve consent item number 4.
Second.
Great.
Roll call.
Thank you.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes.
Councilmember Rule.
Yes.
Councilmember Meng.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to item number 6, the confirming the appointment to the vacancy for the Arts Commission. Mr. Whitman.
Yeah, so this is more, some question process. So when I saw this item, I went to a location on our website that I've visited frequently over the years, which is the Madiac listing. And we've traditionally had the person who made the appointment listed along with who are the commissioners and what are their terms. And then, and when I went to look, there, whoever had made the appointments wasn't listed. And that's, and that one reason I look for that is if it's an imbalance among the city council, that might mean that we're calling somebody out of turn. But then I saw another email with an attachment, the names of the appointing people put back in. So I'm assuming, I haven't been able to had the time to get back and look at the Mattiac, but I'm assuming that we're going back to including that as part of that document that people can look at.
That's correct.
Okay.
In 2025, we updated the Mattiac list for the public, and it did not include the rotating council member assigned to each nominating committee. But we
Right.
listened, and although we made an improvement, we're going to make it better. So since that happened, like Councilmember Whitman said, we have added that. So if you look on our local appointments list, our Mattiac list, it does state that. And it now states the existing vacancies and the next council member in rotation. And I really believe that will help the public with some confusion around commissions.
Right.
And thank you for bringing it up.
I appreciate it.
Then, but the other thing I noticed is that there were, this is across the commissions, there's multiple where it says, this is prior to the current rules, so a name isn't listed, but I do think it's useful to,
Okay.
if we have that information available, I think it's useful for people to know who made the appointment
Yes.
of a particular
I
commissioner.
will look into our records and I'll get the past elected officials before the ordinance to create a nominating committee was established.
And then for the Arts Commission, I had some confusion because it looks like there's an appointment for a position number 5, a vacancy, but we're doing a position number 6.
Correct.
Tonight. And what's the status of position number 5?
It's a good technicality to point out with the chair and the mayor working with the clerk's office activated that 6th seat following the municipal code because these commissioners are volunteers, and we had a commissioner who was leaning towards resignation for personal reasons but wasn't, and so instead of asking that person to resign their volunteer position, we did not, and we activated the 6th seat. Since then, that person has resigned, resulting in another vacancy. But these seats are not interchangeable because there's a rotating council member involved in each of them, or that midterm person being assigned back to it. So it's important for council member representation that we don't just swap out and willy-nilly these seats. So yes, there's a 6th seat that we're appointing now, and there's a vacancy. So if council chooses, we could stay at 5 seats with that, but it's up to your discretion.
Well, my only comment on that would be that having an even number of commissioners means that you can potentially have a draw vote, and you even can when you have an odd number, but it has to be an unusual circumstance where somebody's absent or whatever. But we're kind of setting ourselves up. So my preference would be that if we're adding to the number of commissioners, that we're adding to make it 7, and that we should be in the process of adding a 7th.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I'm not going to want to interfere with getting somebody appointed to this commission, but I'm just worried about the process being
that's just
improved.
Direction received, and the city attorney and I have already talked about that, because the municipal code is silent to how the seats 6 and 7 are. I'm using the term activated, but it's not in the municipal code, activate. So now staff will know. We can present that staff report for discussion.
Okay.
And I just have one quick question. When it says his term, item number 1, I thought the terms were 4 years. I know it's only a few months, but it's more than 4.
Great point. Before this is done tonight, I wrote the staff report, and I just wrote 4 years, but following our municipal code, and what is written, they'd be appointed now to 4.5. So instead, I don't want to get lost in the mix. We're going to fix that. What I'll ask you to approve in the motion tonight is for the term to be, correct me, can you take over, city attorney? So,
Yes, the
so we can get it right.
So pursuant to the municipal code, appointments to the Arts Commission should be no more than 4 years.
Mhm.
And so that will be, the recommendation would be to approve the appointment, or approve the appointment through May of 2029, which would be a 3.5-year term instead of a 4-year term.
Great.
And then it would follow a normal 4-year cycle after that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I meant to comment on that too. So thank
No,
you.
thanks. That's helpful. Any other comments on that? Yes, please.
Yeah, so I think we need to figure, I mean, I don't want to belabor this endlessly, years in the making. But from what I understood, we were moving to 7 commissioners on the Arts Commission. So if that wasn't understood by everybody, there's got to be a formal way that it is understood. And, you know, there's a lot of sort of lack of everyone being on the same page or getting the same information. Like I have other information that I could add, but I'm not going to because, you know, we'll figure it out. I just want to say that I think we need to be more codified and formalized in what the expectations around numbers on the Arts Commission and all of the commissions.
That's fair.
That's the only thing I would say.
Can I follow up and just ask the attorney? So if you have a commission that says it can have 5 or 7 members, by what's the process of which they would move from 5 to 7?
So the way that the code is currently drafted, I think it is a reasonable interpretation of the code to, for the nominating commission to make a recommendation to council, which is what has happened here. I also think, though, when the council is considering that recommendation, you know, obviously I think one of the factors that the council should be considering is not only the appointment of a specific individual, but obviously the filling of another or addition of another member to that commission. So, I mean, by approving the appointment of a 6th seat, you're effectively approving having a 6th member. And so, if, you know, we could also certainly look at amending the code to make that process more clear.
Because the way it seems to be right now, correct me if you understand differently, if the chair and the revolving council person, they usually are having a conversation saying, we need actually 2 more members in this case. And we say, let's do it. That's how it's kind of been informally, it seems to me so far. But
I thought we had agreed that the Arts Commission would go to 7. In
Okay.
fact, we voted on that.
Yeah.
Did we?
Actually,
I thought so.
what if I could add?
please.
What we agreed on when we changed the original code from 5 to 7 was that each commission they selected in an open meeting whether or not to do 5 or 7.
Great.
And so,
Great.
so the direction of 5 or 7 comes from the commission itself.
I like that.
But don't we have to approve?
We have to approve everything. Yeah, we have to approve who it is, and we have to approve the 5 or the 7. But we let them, because some wanted to be 5 and some wanted to be 7, and so we allowed them to let us know.
That's
which
my
one it
understanding.
is.
I recall that.
Yeah, and the Arts Commission wanted to be 7, but they wanted to stay at 5 until they were ready to move to 7.
After the grants.
Yeah, so like, you
So
know,
they're ready for 7 now?
So the only.
as I understand it, they're ready for 7 now.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
So
Yeah.
the only, this is my memory, and I certainly could be wrong, but what I remember is that we've had one commission come to us for a vote that wanted to go to 7, and that was the Planning Commission. Not the planning, the Historic Preservation. And so I don't recall it coming to us for a formal vote. Yes, let's approve the move to 7.
It did when we approved the overall, when we made the changes to the ordinance, that we voted on several different factors at that time, and because we were also talking about
The nominating committee.
the nominating committee. We were talking about the whole ordinance, and so that decision was made in concurrence with other decisions regarding that ordinance.
Please go ahead.
If I may, the currently codified, and the city manager may wish to add something to this, the currently codified version of the municipal code does not reflect what was just described by Councilmember Lang.
Okay.
I'm happy to go back and take a look at that and work with city staff to find out if perhaps it was codified incorrectly, because sometimes codifiers make mistakes. And we can also review the minutes of the meeting in which that was
Okay.
discussed.
That's fine.
Right. I think really we can do that, but I think the better approach would just simply to be, we can do both. We just
Yeah.
bring back some revised
Yeah.
code that's really clear. I mean, that's
Yeah,
having direction is
That's
nice,
fine.
but just if you have, everyone wants to go to the code and see what it says.
Yeah,
And
does anybody want to know another thing? The Parks and Rec, apparently, according to the Parks and Rec, Luis Gomez, who was their liaison, said 5, but they all want 7.
So
Just a,
Well, let's,
So
let's
we-
talk about
Yeah.
something. Let's talk
My-
later about it.
my recommendation would be that we bring this back
Okay.
as an agendized
Yeah, I
item
think,
at a
the ca-
future
I think they
meeting.
want.
yeah, and
You guys, whoop, bring it back, bring it back. Let's talk about this another time. We've got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
We'll
So
bring
I-
this back
I-
as a future
I do have one
discussion.
more comment if we're bringing it back.
Mhm.
You know, my impression is that this is a really burdensome, cumbersome process to get somebody appointed. And what I would suggest, you know, when you bring this back, if the rest of the council agrees, look at what some other cities do for their selection process and you suggest models for us to use.
Well,
This
okay,
could be a 2-hour conversation
Yeah.
for
No,
another
I
time.
don't-
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
You know, just as an idea,
Yeah, sure.
not as a,
we would have to, we have voted on the
Yeah,
process, so we
So-
would have to have someone who voted yes to bring that back for review, in my opinion. I don't know,
Well,
I'm not a lawyer,
we
but
will review
Thank
the
you.
minutes of the previous
That sounds good.
discussion and
Understood.
take a look at that.
The former council spent hours and hours on this very question. I was in the audience. So let's move on this one. Is there any more questions about this appointment?
I
please.
just want to make a statement,
Oh.
that I was part of the nominating committee with the mayor and Smitty to nominate, Brad Tabak
Mhm.
Bank, and he's in the audience, and, you know, his resume is amazing, and we are so very lucky to have him, and to have him sit through, this process, which has indeed been onerous. I will grant you that. So thank you, Brad, and welcome to the Arts Commission.
Here on that.
And
So you want to make the motion then?
I move that we, I'm sorry.
Public
we
comments?
also need public comment.
Public comments on item number 6. All right. Anything online?
No, Mayor, no
Thank
raised
you.
hands.
Okay. Continue,
Okay,
please.
I'm going to make the motion that we confirm the nomination of Bradley Tabak Bank as Arts Commissioner to fill the new vacancy on the Arts Commission.
Second that.
And I will add a technicality that
Yes.
the term will end in May of 2029.
Thank you for that.
Roll call.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang,
Yes.
Councilmember Rule,
Yes.
Mayor Gilman,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman,
yes.
Councilmember Mang.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. We are now on to our first public hearing, consideration of the resolution approving the agreement to extend the timeline to complete surplus property disposal at the Ojai Bungalows. Thank you, sir. Welcome. Ready when you are.
I think we're going to start off, Mayor, if that's okay, with just a disclaimer, if you will,
Thank
from
you.
the city attorney.
Okay.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. I'm here with staff tonight to present this resolution approving an agreement to extend the timeline to complete the surplus property land disposal with Ojai Bungalows LP. I'm sure every single one of you know, in December 2023, the City Council approved a litigation settlement agreement with Ojai Bungalows related to 4 residential housing projects. One aspect of that agreement was the conveyance of what I believe here in the city you often refer to as the Mallory Way paper street. And so as part of the agreement, that consideration of that conveyance was supposed to come back to council for public discussion and consideration at a future meeting. To date, sitting here today, that has not yet come back to council, and that is due to the fact that under that agreement, in order to go through, it contemplated compliance with the California Surplus Land Act, which is a multi-step process, but the very beginning of that is real property due diligence. And while the city had begun the process of completing the real estate due diligence work, they need additional time. And so tonight we are here to present this agreement that will effectively provide the city with additional time to complete those processes and come back to city council at a future date for consideration of the land conveyance. So the item on the agenda tonight is simply the extension of time. It will provide city council and the city with an additional 120 days from the date that the agreement is approved by the council to complete those activities and bring that back to city council. However, before city council can consider that, we need to or at least we would recommend that we present this to the Department of Housing and Community Development for a preliminary review. And that process, the timeline for that is unknown. So the developer has agreed not only to the initial 120 days, but an additional 120 days beyond that if needed because of the timeline with HCD. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Seibert.
Let me just clarifying question for you to say one more
Absolutely.
time. Any discussion tonight about what actually to do with that piece of land is moot at this time. This is simply an
It is-
extension of the timeline to do the due diligence.
Yes.
Okay.
The item on the agenda is not approval of the conveyance of the property, is simply the consideration of extending the timeline for completing that process.
Understood. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
Well, you took most of the stuff that I was going to say, but I would just add this: the
Okay.
information that you're seeing in the staff report is kind of a status report, a check-in in terms of what the basically the settlement agreement had outlined. The first piece was really to the conveyance of the Mallory Way right away, the paper street. I will admit, it wasn't that we sat on our hands. We were doing our due diligence behind the scenes and recognized that there was some information that was lacking. Our normal process by which to obtain a deed or to verify that we had ownership of the property failed us, so we kept looking at other avenues to address that. But what we didn't do is hold up the rest of the projects that you're seeing in this update. Instead, what we did is kept doing our due diligence behind the scenes and move these other projects forward as a part of the settlement agreement. So there is more time that's needed, as the city attorney had identified. There's more work to be done to ensure the due diligence is done properly for this.
Thank you. Any questions for staff before we go to public comments? Yes, please.
I'm just gonna recap because I think there was some confusion in the public, but essentially all this is to get an extension in order to put the ducks in a row to make the application to the state for the Surplus Land Act and potentially to HCD. So there's no decisions being made. It is just process based. As I understand it, the deed, because the land is not built upon, deeds go hiding. They go deep and they go deeper and deeper. So it took a very long time to find the deed. But the deed has been found and the city does own it. But it took a while to do that, much longer than we would have expected. So we are at the point where now we need that extension on mandatory timelines that we have. So that's where we are and that's what we're doing.
Well, and I would add that there's some other due diligence work that's currently underway For example, the city is in the process of completing a survey, because it's great to have a deed that describes the property, but it's a picture's worth a 1,000 words. So, having the survey and actually seeing what's on the ground is always an important part of that process. We're also completing the more robust title work to make sure that there aren't any other encumbrances that are recorded against that property. So, there are still some other steps before we would even be prepared to submit the package of information to HCD for consideration, and then before we would bring it to City Council for consideration.
Thank you.
And do you suppose that 120 days is enough time?
I don't.
I'm sorry, but I'm just
I think optimistically. So our office prepared a timeline of how long we think that process theoretically should take.
Mm-hmm.
And, under the most aggressive timeline, it could be less. But I think realistically, we thought 120 days, provided sufficient time to bring it back to council. But, because we have that unknown with the Department of Housing and Community Development,
You've got the extra.
We added in
Yeah.
a little extra wiggle room in case,
Right.
we need it.
Thank you.
And I guess I just have one other question. You couldn't do a survey until you had a deed. Is that correct?
You can, but it's less. It doesn't necessarily. You need the legal description.
Right.
of
You
the
need the legal
property.
description that comes with the deed.
Yep.
That describes
That's
the
correct.
coordinates, basically, or whatever.
So you need a legal description.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Right. So it was a dependency to the extent that you wanted to really have all your ducks in a row.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Let me go to the public comments. Mr. Steve Quillisi, please. Lynn, it's Menlo, I believe, and then Don Shook. Hello, sir.
Good evening. The settlement agreement regarding the bungalows has generated a lot of public concern, especially with this provision to declare a part of Mallory Way as surplus land and deed it to the developer. There may be a way to avoid declaring any city land surplus while also allowing the developer to complete the agreed upon 58 residential units at the bungalows. Allow the developer to add another 2-story building on the property and move the 7 units currently proposed for this paper street into the original bungalow parcel. The city originally pushed the developer to keep all of the 58 units in single-story building. The city also required preserving the open courtyard in the middle of the property. That meant the developer, to build enough units, needed more ground space. And the city's answer was to provide the extra ground space via that paper street that is city property. Since those original negotiations, the city has agreed to 1 second-story residential unit over the garages and laundry room along the east edge of the parcel by the cul-de-sac on West Eucalyptus. If the city is agreeable to that 2-story residence, why not another? Allowing an additional 2-story structure would provide the following benefits. For the city, eliminate the need to declare any city land as surplus, thus preserving the open land paper street as a rural rock walkway cherished by numerous pedestrians like me. Demonstrate to the people of Ojai a sensitivity to preserving our quiet rural environment. Preserve the numbers of affordable residences promised in the settlement agreement and avoid the precedent of giving city land to a developer, which has never been done in the past to my knowledge. For the developer, this eliminates the need to create a new sewer main in the paper street. Just connect those 7 units to the existing, or that will be the existing, sewer infrastructure on the bungalow parcel. Realize construction economies by putting all of the utilities for all 58 units in a smaller footprint. And realize more construction economies by adding another 2-story unit, perhaps at the south end of the parcel. At that Mallory Way. Good neighbor attitude seen so many times.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Lynn Menlo, please, Don Shook, and then Robin Hall, or Hal. Thank you. Great. I love moral support.
Okay, I'm going to do this without crying, I hope.
Okay. You bet.
We bought our house 6 years ago. We come part-time from Los Angeles. And when we bought the house, I felt like we got a little bit of heaven. Literally, it's like an oasis for us. We bring our children, our grandchildren up. What could happen is those 6 units that they're making on the nature path literally butts up to our property. And our little heaven and our little oasis will no longer be, because we'll have neighbors looking into our property. The cars will be nonstop up and down our street. Right now there's no cars. I see animals on the pathway. It's quiet. The neighbors are so kind that live in the cottage on Eucalyptus. It's going to change the energy. It's going to change the environment. And I feel that Ojai is giving in. Keep Ojai what it has been for all these years. I came up here 25 years ago when I lived in Santa Barbara, and it was like an oasis of quietness and ruralness, and it's so changing. Do this 2-story that he was just talking about, Steve. Do the 2-story. Leave the pathway. It's nature. It's what, just leave it alone. Don't bother it. Don't want to say anything.
No. Just to be clear, we're not deciding anything tonight. I hope
know.
that's clear. Okay.
I just wanted you to hear
We
from
hear you.
like
We hear
an
you.
emotional side. that
Understood.
He's destroying something that we have, and he's building Ojai up, and we don't want that. We want Ojai to stay Ojai. We don't want Ojai to become big. Thank you.
Thank you. Don Shook, please. Robin Howe, and then Anita Cram, please.
Hi, I'm Dawn Shook,
Hello.
and I'm speaking on the same property. I'm around the corner from when she is. I have some of my neighbors here as well from Mallory and Eucalyptus. We're all very concerned regarding the disposal of the free land to Becker Group for development of more Troy Lodge cottages. And I understand that you're really working on that, so that's good. We want to know what the trade-off was for the free land. It seems like you're giving free land to someone. What does the city get from that? I don't know. A well-used walking area, as she just said, for many residents is what we see. When Troy Lodge was developed in the 40s, all the cottages had one parking space to use, which still works well to this day. We would like to ask and get the same for the new cottages proposed. We do not need an additional 40-plus cars parking on Mallory Way or Eucalyptus. We have no sidewalks, and many people walk over our street daily and safely. Some come from the land the Becker Group wants to develop. Also, when first proposed, Mr. Becker assured me that Oak Street would be open to cars and walkers going to Ojai as an alternative route rather than all the motorists or walkers using Mallory Way. I don't know if that's going to happen. The Becker Group is still working on Aliso Street at the Cottages Among the Flowers, and that project is not nearly finished product with 4 to 5 homes still in disrepair. When will that project be finished? Hopefully sometime soon. It's been going on 2 years so far. We are on Mallory and Eucalyptus Street are very concerned our residents will not be safe due to such dense housing and many parking issues dealing with Troy Lodge. These issues need to be addressed before the bulldozers arrive. My neighbors and I live very close to Troy Lodge area and find that the density proposed to be disconcerting to the quiet area we all bought because of the bucolic nature of Mallory and Eucalyptus. Future plans should be brought to our attention so we can all be good neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. And then just to say, when people are speaking in the audience, I know you're speaking quietly to each other, but we can hear it, so they're just like a hum. So if I might ask you to speak outside if you do want to talk. Robin Howe, please, Anita Cram, and then Jeffrey Harlan. Hi.
I know this property pretty well because I walk my dog up and down it fairly often. And all my neighbors and a lot of the people I've met in Ojai walk the same path through here. It's a beautiful piece of nature, and I certainly don't feel it should be given away to this particular developer. I think the comments that Steve brought up earlier, mentioning some second-story elements would be much more beneficial in losing this nature and landscape. And I question the whole size of the development in the first place, but this project has been going on for years, and I've sat in many of these meetings over the years, and the project keeps evolving, and it seems to me that the developer is getting more and more benefits from just the longer he delays the project, the more the city is trying to encourage him. And this latest land swap kind of idea seems very negative to me and seems questionable. I can't speak to the legal, but it seems like it's a definite problem. Thank you.
Just to say, it's not a new idea. It's actually in the contract from December from 23, just to be clear. It's not something we just came up with, but just to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was in that meeting.
Oh, no, for good.
Back then, but I didn't realize all the land swap was part of it.
Yeah.
What I heard originally was
I made the mistake of wanting to engage in a conversation that I shouldn't have done that. Just to say, there's not new developments in the deal right now.
All right.
Okay. Anita Cram, please, Jeffrey Harlan, and then Bill Miley.
So I oppose this procedural extension tonight, and I oppose it because I oppose the city gifting the open space land west of the Mallory Way bungalows to developers. This land belongs to us, to we the people, and to the wildlife that use it on a daily basis. Obstructing this open space with prefab duplexes from Japan will further force wildlife into proximity with humans. They have lived here hundreds of thousands to millions of years longer than us. It is much more their land than it is ours. They are sharing it with us. This is also a free-flowing watershed recharge area. As we continue to engineer our water to flow to the ocean, we lose important groundwater recharge. Channeling our water takes it out of the natural open spaces where it is able to spread out and percolate down into our groundwater table beneath the earth. This is one of those one of the prime functions of the land in question, along with it serving as a wildlife corridor and a community walking path for decades. Community walking path, if not probably as long as the cottages have existed and beyond. With development, this will all be irreversibly harmed. I would also like to remind the council about our rights of nature ordinance, protecting water, flora, and fauna, so it can exist and thrive. Words of the ordinance. This is contrary to that. So, to reiterate Len Menlo's poignant words, keep Ojai what it has been all these years. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeffrey Harlan, please, and then Bill Miley.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council
Hi.
members. My name
Hi.
is Jeff Harlan. I'm an attorney with Venable in Los Angeles. Our firm represents the Menlos, you heard from earlier. I want to take you back to July of last year when the Planning Commission considered the Bungalows project. Among their recommendations to council was that city staff work with our clients to resolve some of the property issues. We provided a survey shortly after that meeting that showed that there were some encroachments, there's some issues with tree removal and tree maintenance, and more importantly, the fact that the project seems to directly abut the our client's property and, in fact, takes over what is, you've heard many times, public space. We had every intention of working with staff collaboratively, but there's been no progress since that time. And then we find out recently that there's this meeting tonight. And the reason, as your city attorney explained, is no due diligence has been made. I do want to say I had a conversation with Ms. Burgess yesterday. I greatly appreciate her that transparency is of paramount importance to this city, and that they will work with not just our clients, but the entire community. I know this moth is very distracting, and now that's going to show up on the video.
Yeah.
That's okay.
See nature's coming in here.
Yeah, exactly.
And I appreciate the information that she shared, including the grant deed. There are still a lot of outstanding legal questions, as your city attorney noted, and there's a long process, not just the Surplus Lands Act, but if in fact this is a public right-of-way, you'd have to have a vacation process. So we expect there to be a considerable amount of time before a final decision is made. That time should allow us to have a collaborative effort with the city to work out some of the issues that we have. And we have proposed suggestions. I would agree with your first speaker about a kind of wholesale review of how to accommodate the density on the site without having to use Mallory Way. But we've also suggested maintaining a portion of the pathway where it is, at the very least to keep that buffer, and also to provide safety and security, not just for the residents on the west side, but also those in the Bungalows project. So our ask this evening is really to adhere to the Planning Commission's recommendation. I believe that over the next 120 plus days, that provides ample time for us to work with staff. I have no doubts that we're going to have considerable conversations over this time, but we want to make sure that council knows this is obviously terribly important to the community, not just my clients, and we want to make sure that this is resolved in the best way for the entire neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bill Miley, please, and then Elizabeth Sickle, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I am one who was a little confused about this item. I kind of passed over the extension time as being the important issue. Who can be against adding more time to work things out? The big question, the emergent question is giving away property to a developer that the city owns. That seems to be the big issue. I did not know this. Listening to Anita, I didn't know this was a animal wildlife corridor. I've been on the property 3 or 4 years ago in a car. We drove around. And I didn't really see a trail, but there must have been the one there. Seems to get a little rough when you get north. I thought it was important to describe what was happening here. Somehow, sometime, the city ended up getting property that I think is about 40 feet wide and, I don't know, 300 feet long. I'd like to know how we got that. That would be really important. And was it intended to be used for something then? Okay. I think trading with the developer in perpetuity a trail it could be a part of a wildlife trail. I didn't know they were gonna, because I didn't see the plan to put buildings on this. It's pretty narrow. Perpetuity, a trail for people and wildlife would be really great. I like the idea of expanding Mallory Way so people aren't pushed really together, you're giving them a little more space. That's a good idea. I certainly think you ought to have more time. But I would like to have the public know more about where you got the property and what was intended for it. Because I wondered what it was for. Thought, wow, we grabbed that sometime years ago and we haven't done anything. You even talked about it, okay. Thought that it was well said that if the developer doesn't do this in 12 months, he has to give it back. That's right. So, anyway, I've been supportive of the project over the years as it's developed. We need more affordable housing. Landmark housing is really nice, but let's find out more about this. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Elizabeth, how do you pronounce your last name? Sitchell, thank you. I appreciate it. Please come up. Thanks.
If the city owns this piece of land, doesn't it actually belong to the city of Ojai, as in all the population? So if you're going to do something with it, shouldn't the people have a vote on that instead of just a council? I mean, we've gone through how many councils during the time when this property was supposedly owned by the city? So is it just the government that owns it of Ojai? You being the government, I'm sorry. But it is the people's property. So they should have a say completely on who it goes to and what's being done to it. And we have a small population of supposedly 7,000 people. And those 7,000 people should all be invited to see it, should all be invited to know what's happening with it, even if they're not involved. But that's my question. We are the people. We're the city of Ojai, not just the government. So shouldn't we have the say on who it goes to in a vote of some kind? Thank you. Yeah, and I'd like to know who gave it to the city too. But
that was Mr. Miley's question.
That was a Bill thing, but
yeah. Anything online?
Mayor, we have no raised hands, but since we are in a notice public hearing, let's extend our hybrid format out to our Zoom participants. Zoom participants, please raise your hand now if you'd like to speak on our public hearing item number 7. And we do have a raised hand from Teal.
Okay.
Teal, you can unmute and you have the ability to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, council, for everything. It's always hard for public comment because this has been an ongoing conversation and issue and concern. And I just have commented many times on the watershed, and I think Anita Cram brought it up tonight again, and the importance of nature in Ojai and the historical importance. Like, that piece of property is really old. It's an old thoroughway. We used to ride horses on it, and I think my mom, when she was a kid, rode horses on that. So to remember the history and to remember, yes, the people of Ojai, but also it's open space, it's land, and we need that. So thank you very much for all that you do, and take good care of yourselves and each other. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Mayor, we have one more raised hand from Renee.
All right.
Renee, you have the floor.
Okay, hello, everybody. I know you don't want to take comments about the project. My question is, if you don't approve it tonight, what happens? Does it go back to the council to renegotiate the contract? I'm just curious what the negatives would be on having to renegotiate this with the developer. And I'm not suggesting you have to do that. Trust me, I'm not doing that. All I want to do is raise for the developer's consideration. I've made this comment in the past, but I've never really been heard. The connectivity of the east side of Ojai with the west side of Ojai would be greatly improved if we had a bicycle path on that open space and along the back side of the Becker project to connect over to Aliso Street and Grand Avenue and bicycles for kids. This is a major open space area that, in my mind, when this was being negotiated, didn't consider fires and hazards and people being landlocked in certain areas and not being able to get out. I think we need access, but for bicycle paths, possibly emergency roadways, just as a different way to look at it that we maybe hadn't even thought about before. I've mentioned it before. Maybe the developer would consider redesigning so that we can have more bicycle access on this property. I think that would be an amazing gift to the community to add that in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No more raised hands, Mayor.
Well, obviously, this has been one of the big issues of the last council, of course, and continues into this one. I'm presuming you heard all the comments, so we all understand what the hopes and intentions are for this property. And then just to say again, all we're talking about is extending that timeline. So I guess I would hope that we would reserve conversation around the project for a more apt time when it actually comes up, when we know more. That's just a suggestion.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think what makes sense to me is that we move forward with the motion to extend the timeline and give community development and our attorneys and everybody time to work on this. I would also like for a conversation to start to talk about what the options, if there are any options around maintaining that strip of land and renegotiating that part of the development agreement and talking to the developers to see if they are willing to do that. At the time that this was negotiated, our priorities were single story and keep the space in the middle intact. Maybe there's ways to rethink that now that we've actually had a chance to realize how deeply this lives in our heart and how many of our community members actually use that and how valuable and unique it is to the people of Ojai. I myself use it. I meet Mr. Quillisi sometimes. I was biking today just to take a look around and see what it was. So I certainly want to hear from my other council members, but I think it's imperative that we move forward to get the extension. And I also think it's imperative that we start a conversation with the developers to see if there is a give or take and a way to maintain this for the city. And that is a question to bring to the conversation.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping that everyone is willing to do that.
That sounds good. Does anybody just, yeah, please.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Councilmember Rule said. I think that since we did enter it into that development agreement, we've heard from a lot of people about how precious that land is, and so I think having this extending the timeline will give us the opportunity to continue hearing public comments and continue to look for ways to work with the developer. I also wanted to point out too, in addition to those provisions that we negotiated in the original settlement, one of the biggest ones that was important to us was making sure that everyone who lives in Mallory Way, that they get to stay in their homes, that no one would be displaced. And so we were, we gave some, the developer gave some, and we came to what we thought was a really an agreement where what is that saying that you know there's a good agreement when everyone's a little bit unhappy. But our priority was ensuring that we preserved the quality of what makes Ojai Ojai. Those properties are going to be landmarked. There's so respect for the history of it and the historic nature of the cottages or the bungalows rather, and most importantly, we just wanted to make sure that we were taking care of everyone who lives there, and so I just wanted to add that too.
No, thanks. Anything else?
Yeah, I like that concept. Keep Ojai, Ojai. The way that I view this, what's in front of us, the decision to make is, fairly easy, because I think there's a lot of desire by the public to communicate about how to best, accommodate this land and the project. And I also understood from what legal counsel said at the outset that part of the reason for the extension is to provide that opportunity for public input. And so I think that the whole process benefits from the time that will be allowed, and deliberation, and I expect there's going to be multiple opportunities for the community to chime in again, and we'll see what ideas work their way out. So I support this.
I think we're in agreement there. So I would move that we extend the timeline as recommended.
I would second.
And actually, we have a resolution in the packet because this was a
Great.
public hearing item.
Super.
So it would be moving approval of the resolution, which
Then I would move the
approves
approval
the
to the
agreement.
resolution.
Yep.
Okay.
If I could just, I don't want to belabor this point, but I wanted to thank everyone who came. When we were in negotiations, there was so much that we were negotiating. We were negotiating 5 properties. We were negotiating to keep everybody as safe as we possibly could. And I remember, I've been walking that path. I remember saying, it could be DG, but it can't be, it can't be paved. But even DG is not acceptable. But at the time, in the midst of these 5 properties, in the midst of trying to figure all of this out. So I'm really glad that this has bubbled back up as we move forward. I think it's kind of poetic justice that it took so long to find out who actually owned it, because in fact, maybe so I'm very happy about that. And I want to appreciate the folks who actually called and who came up and talked about nature and, the need for the watershed and the water table to replenish itself, and how we don't think about that as much. So I just wanted to say that. And I think we can figure this out. I know we can figure this out.
Thank you. So are you the second on, or who seconded?
Yes, I seconded it, but I had a comment.
Okay. Great.
Roll call, Mayor.
Thank you.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Councilmember Rule.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
Yes.
Councilmember May.
Yes.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes. Okay. To be continued. We're on discussion item number 8, the city council meeting schedule for 2026.
Yes, Mayor.
Yep.
This is our regular meeting schedule for the year.
Yeah.
Some routine items. A couple things to point out. We recommended 1 cancellation for summer recess, Thanksgiving and winter. Also being mindful of the Jewish holidays, which affected us in 2025, respectful to the community. I compared those. There was none in conflict with our regular meeting schedule, so this is a routine approval so that we have our meetings for the year.
Sounds good. So page 157 is basically the calendar for the year.
Very good.
Looks good to me.
I guess we need to hear comment if there are any.
Do we? I don't have any cards on number 8.
No raised hands on Zoom for item number 8, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Whitman.
So I'd move to approve.
Second that.
All right. Roll call.
Yep.
Councilmember May.
Yes.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
Yes.
Councilmember Rule.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Super. On to number 9, the appointment of the mayor pro tem.
Yes. Mayor, this is a self-explanatory report, and I'll look to you to guide your council through the nomination process.
Okay, great. So does anybody want to nominate someone for the position?
Yeah, I'll move to, I'd like to nominate Kim Mang for the Mayor Pro Tem position.
I presume we're looking for seconds on nominations, Mr. Montgomery, in terms of the form?
Yes.
Mhm.
Motion and a second. That would be
Mhm.
Councilmember Whitman
Mhm.
making that motion. Is there a second?
Is that something you want to do?
I'm definitely interested.
Mhm.
I think it would be, but you know, it's not a huge commitment because what if you've done one day and I think you did one day?
None.
None.
He did none days.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested. Yeah, so I don't know if I could second myself. Seems.
You can.
I will make a comment that we have often said that this is a rotating position, and that you know, everyone gets their chance to be mayor pro tem.
Mhm.
I will point out I've not had my chance, so I will say that
Mhm.
that yeah, that's what I will say, and I will
Mhm.
let people kind of take that where they will and do what they will with that.
Mhm.
Councilmember Mang, was that a second from you?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Mayor, if you'd like to have a roll call, we can.
Yeah,
we
let's
need-
keep
we
talking.
need public comment.
I don't have anything on number 9, but let's do you have any public comments?
Yes. Excuse
Yeah,
me for
anything
moving too
online?
fast. Yes, Mayor, we do have a raised hand
Great.
from Renee. Renee, you have the ability to speak.
Okay.
I do remember, good evening. I do remember in a previous meeting that Council Member Rule did say she was interested in being the pro tem next because she might likely rotate off because she's up for election in this next election cycle. And I do believe that Kim Mang has 3 more years to go.
Mhm.
So my understanding is she might have an opportunity in those next 3 years to be pro tem. And so that might be an opportunity for Kim to be able to do it next cycle. And in fact, many of you are up for election
Mhm.
in November. So I'm just wondering if that might factor into people's considerations about who's going to nominate who. Thank you very much.
Understood. Thank you. Is there someone else online coming?
No, Mayor, we were
Oh.
just getting our timer set.
Just to say, I guess here's how I'm thinking about the question. One is that it's rotating and in a sense performative, you might say. On the other hand, you would want to say, if something were to happen to the mayor, is this person equipped to be the mayor? I think that's another part of the question that would be considered.
I agree with that.
And I mean, I was thinking that as well. I think the first time that we nominated Susan Francina, we did so because she had experience as the mayor. Even though there was the nomination, there was another nomination, but we felt that that, you know, obviously Sousa, if she were to step in, she had the experience already. So needless to point out, I have 3 years plus on the council, and it takes 3 years plus on the council to understand how this council works. That having been said, I will once again leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple of comments that I think are practical considerations. One is that Leslie Rule has sued the city, and so if she were put in the mayor's position, there would be the potential to influence how we, hold and conduct meetings related to that lawsuit. She's also openly rejected the advice of the city attorney, deferred to another attorney in making her decisions instead of our city attorney. And, she's alleged that the duties as a city council member are so stressful to her that she entered into an agreement about resigning her post that she wouldn't have if it wasn't so stressful to be a city council member. So I really have, I mean, my strongest concern is that there's been a reflection of no respect for the city attorney who is advising, and I think it's very important for the mayor to have a close relationship and respect for what the city attorney advises.
If I might offer, I would suggest, if I take the principle of if something were to happen to the mayor, who would be the most equipped to be the mayor, I would suggest that, going off a little bit about what Ms. Roth suggested, that with Ms. Mang having 3 more years, I would actually move forward and offer Ms. Lang to have another term as the mayor pro tem. Fitting into that, that would be my nomination. But I realize that's not common to have somebody serve twice.
I'll step in here. So my plan was to come here tonight and nominate you because of the rotation, because that's something that has been a tradition and that we have done up to this point. In reflecting this afternoon and this evening, if we were to have matters related to the lawsuit and something were to happen to the mayor, that would put you as the mayor in an adversarial position to the city. And so I think it's a conflictual dilemma that warrants that we break tradition, because this is an unprecedented thing. And I feel personally bad because I believe in the fairness of the rotation, but it's just been weighing on my conscience.
Okay. Well, that's disappointing, I have to say. I'm very disappointed in you, as I have been on occasion. That having been said, this is a personal affront. It is absolutely a personal affront. If I need to recuse myself, I'm sure that our attorney would be the first. And as far as not following the advice of our city attorney was a terrible city attorney, and he gave us bad advice. That's just the way it was. If you would like me to take bad advice, I know that you that you want to follow the advice of the experts, because I think it lends cover, but it doesn't show any kind of courage whatsoever or any sort of independent thought whatsoever. That having been said, yeah, I am suing the city because the city did not do what it is legally obligated to do. Would you have me not sue the city? And as far, so I didn't bring this up, by the way.
Fair enough. I guess I don't want to talk about
it is an affront to me from all of you, every one of you.
Well, I guess what I want to say is, talking about the suit's one thing, but I want to talk about the motivation or the rationale, and finally the vote for the mayor pro tem is what we're talking about right now.
Right. So, yeah. I mean, I don't have an adversarial relationship with the current.
The person who is next.
With the current city attorney. In the end, you guys you do what you need to do. It is a pro forma position.
Okay.
But you two, seriously, that having been said, take your vote.
Yep. Well, so we have a motion and a second. I'm making a motion for Ms. Lang. I haven't heard a second for that yet, but either way is fine with me.
Councilmember Lang did an outstanding job acting as our mayor pro tem. So if it makes you more comfortable that we would use her and let Kim have more time before she got her, I would support that.
And discomfort's too strong of a word in either case. More like just small preference.
And I would support Kim Meng being the mayor pro tem.
Okay, well, I guess we vote on my first motion then. Or, well, actually, where are we? Because we had a counter motion.
I think the question is, did we have a second for the substitute motion?
I'll second the substitute motion.
Okay.
So then we would vote on the substitute motion first.
Okay.
Motion, Mayor Gilman. Second, Councilmember Rule to nominate Lang.
Are you in agreement to take it? If so,
I really appreciate the honor, and I feel it's more fair to keep with the rotation.
Okay.
So is that a rejection
yeah.
of the nomination?
fine.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
more fair to keep with the rotation unless Leslie's in the rotation, right? So thank you.
I see that it's
And,
uncomfortable right now.
and
No, it's okay. So then I'll withdraw that
Okay.
and let's vote.
Motion, Councilmember Whitman, second, Councilmember Mang to nominate Councilmember Mang.
Mm-hmm.
Roll call. Councilmember Whitman,
yes,
Mayor Gilman,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang,
Yes.
Councilmember Mang.
You could say abstain.
I think I will abstain. This is a terrible.
Councilmember Rule.
No.
Okay. All right.
Motion passes with 3
Right.
votes.
Okay. All right.
I admit I'm emotional, but this is just a disgrace that you let Andy Gilman do this. I mean, Andy Whitman do this, honestly.
I understand that you're upset.
Yeah,
but
I am upset.
Well, you heard some concerns about the situation.
Concerns, anyone can come up with concerns. Whether or not they're legitimate is the question. It's not whether or not there are concerns, because anyone can
Fair
make
enough.
up any concerns. It's like, are they legitimate? Did you actually think through? Were they legitimate?
Well,
I don't know.
Disagreeing doesn't mean we didn't think it through.
yeah.
No, I'm not saying you didn't. I'm saying,
Okay.
did you?
Yes, but let's move on. Item number 10, appointment of representatives to local and regional boards to the city committees.
Yes, Mayor, the last item from the clerk's seat here. We'll go through our list. Attached is a copy of the 2025 record. I know we received some comments about some outdated information, but I did want to provide that and not change the record of what happened in 2025. I'm prepared here from the clerk's seat to run through with you leading, Mayor, and we'll go through every seat, starting with our newest one, the Ojai Valley Municipal Advisory Council, and then take one motion after I scribe it.
Let me make sure I'm on the same page with you.
So I would ask that everyone open up the attachment A to item 10, where it lists the selections from last year.
Okay.
And
And what's the page number at the very bottom, just for my reference?
Pardon me, I don't have that packet.
Oh, no
open.
problem.
Someone else could
Okay.
identify.
If you're referring to last year's document, I think it's 163.
Okay.
That looks correct.
Thank you.
However, with that said, I don't see, the first item I see on 163 is the Air Pollution Control Board.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
And I thought I would, forgive me, I thought I would jump in and we have a new addition in 2026 here,
Mm-hmm.
following some council direction last year to appoint 2 representatives to the Ojai Valley Municipal Advisory Council.
Okay.
I believe that request came from Councilmember Whitman
Mm-hmm.
last year, and we
And they
decided to-
approve that, right? The
staff has. I have not been in contact with the county, but I figured we assign the representatives and then we'd follow up with that.
We were there last night and they
Yeah,
liked
there
it.
was a meeting. Yeah, exactly.
So I think they do like it. Okay. So are we starting with the Air Quality Control Board? Am I seeing that? Air Pollution Control Board? You tell
No,
me.
I
where
think
we're
I think he's saying
Let's-
that he wants to start with
the MAC.
With MAC.
Okay, great.
Forgive me for not speaking
No.
clearly.
It's me.
I would like to be on that.
As would I.
I'd like to be on that too.
Well, here's a question. I'm intending to go to them all. So the question is, we can certainly go. It's in a non-voting capacity. They're voting. We're offering any information. As Planning Commission people they also have a motion. They have a part in the agenda asking for any Planning Commission updates. Sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not.
But
So I
then the
guess
meetings would be open to the public, right? So even though I didn't have, if I could still attend the meetings and hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I
So
guess the
if
question is,
somebody else, then
if
I'm-
somebody really wants to do it, fine with me. I'm definitely going.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. I would go as well. So.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it's more like we're sitting there and they're asking us questions. It's not like we're
Yeah.
voting on anything.
Yeah, so it's 2 seats, and my preference would be to appoint the mayor and Ms. May.
Of course it would.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point this has to stop. This really has to stop,
Well-
Mr. Whitman. It has to stop.
Well,
I mean, please, you guys, I don't want to do this right now. So at least could we say the mayor does make sense, and I'm not just trying to be personal. It does make sense that I would be there on,
Yes.
on that commission for sure. And I'm going to be there anyway.
And I'll be there anyway, so
Mhm.
makes no difference to me.
Great. If it makes no difference to you, then I'll take it.
Oh, it's something that we'll appoint. So I'm happy to vote on who, if you guys are, well, should we have a vote on the one that first we'll start with me, the easy part, hopefully, and then go for the second?
So I'm sorry, but I don't
Okay.
understand the logic of the mayor being the default position.
Because it receives the most votes out of the city. So in one sense, you could say it's got the most representation from the city. That's generally the thought.
But you could say that. Correct.
Well, that's why the mayor would sit on the rotating commission appointments. Same
No,
logic.
I understand that.
Oh, okay.
But I'm talking about all the commissions.
I'm not understanding your question.
I'm saying that there are many.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
No, of course that's true, and no mayor will be able to do them all. But I am going to be there for this one anyway.
Great.
Well, the only thing I could suggest is I guess we're going to vote on who should be on it.
Well, I think Ms. Mang said that she was fine not to be on it, unless I misunderstood what she said.
I did say,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I
But you'll
guess
just
that
be
there's
there
no
anyway.
question.
I'll just be there anyway.
Okay.
You know, as long as it's not a closed set or whatever, but if I can attend, it's just, that's fine.
And that's all we'll all be doing. Also, this is just as an aside, but when the county supervisor did bring up that there will be a traffic commission, he's going to go very wide on that. So there was nothing decided about who's going to be on it except for 2 MAC members and him. So that's coming, but nothing there yet. So I guess then my suggestion is it would be Ms. Rule and myself. Now, are we voting on these guys each one by one, or are we just appointing?
I recommend going through the list, making one motion. All up to you. We can do it.
Certainly be a lot
individually.
easier if we could just do that.
I would love that. Okay, so I've heard there's an objection, and Ms. Mang said she doesn't mind, so I would say let's start there and move on. Okay. Where are we on now?
The Ventura County Air Pollution Control Board. That
Okay,
will be
great.
the first one on the list now.
I see now.
Pardon the confusion.
Nope, it was me confused. So, Mr. Whitman, you've been on there.
Yeah, I'd like to stay.
Okay.
I'd also like to be on that one.
Because right now we don't have an alternate, correct?
And that is per that agency's policy.
They don't want an alternate. correct?
I'm interested in being the representative, not being the alternative.
Okay.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah.
Is it your position that we should not adopt anything that reduces carbon in the Ojai Valley? Because you voted that way on every
Excuse me?
item.
Wait, hold on a second. Just tell what's your interest in wanting to be on the position? Just simply that.
My interest in being on the position is that I'm interested in kids that are getting asthma.
Okay.
And I would like to take a look at how that actually works with kids in schools and the traffic corridors that go around schools and kids with asthma, which has been a long-term interest of mine, having been an educator for 30 years and having seen and worked in disadvantaged communities where most of this kind of air pollution actually lives. That's my interest. Thank you for the question.
No, thanks. So, and you want to continue to be on it?
I want to continue to be on it, and my interest has always been that air quality is a big issue in Ojai Valley. And I've been involved in advocating for measures to improve air quality in Ojai for about 40 years. And so I've really appreciated, what they're trying to accomplish on the Air Pollution Control Board. It primarily relates to adopting, regulations that are technical and legal, but it also relates to approving grant monies for programs that primarily reduce carbon, and that is the primary goal of the Air Pollution Control District, is to address reducing carbon, and that it's really important to me. And I have a very good working relationship with the director. I'd like to continue
So
that.
I guess what I would suggest is if there's a conflict and 2 people want to do it and neither wants to compromise, I suggest then we would vote on that particular one.
I'm perfectly fine to back off of this.
Okay.
Although I do want to state that, my interest in carbon reduction has to do with common sense.
Okay.
So,
fair enough.
but thank you for bringing it up, Councilmember Whitman.
I'm hoping we can get through this more easily. Okay, so what we're saying right now is
You should have been smart to
Councilmember
begin
Whitman
with.
is going to take that position. Okay. And then joint powers, that's me, that's the mayor position, correct?
Correct. Mayor.
Okay, fair enough. Clean Power Alliance,
I can stay on that one with Michelle Ellison as the alternate.
she's agreed.
Yes, she has.
I have no objections to that.
And then I'm the second alternate.
Mhm.
Right.
I would like to be the alternate on that, because I'm interested in alliances, and it's on my bill every month, so I want to see how it works. And as a council member, I think it's important for my constituents also to have someone representing them who has an understanding of how clean power.
Are you willing
Alliance
to
works.
concede that one for the second alternate position?
I would like Michelle Ellison to
No,
stay on that.
Michelle's the
board.
alternate, but it would be the
Okay,
second
good,
alternate.
Good. She's very involved, and she's on committees, and
Yeah,
she
I
is
just
a
want to
great
make sure that
representative.
Michelle remains the alternate. She actually effectively serves
That's
as our
right.
representative, and I
That's-
think that should continue.
I agree with that.
And you know, as long as the mayor pro tem is the representative and Michelle Ellison is the alternate, then I don't care if I stay as second alternate.
So you're good with that? You're the second alternate?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Got it.
Making progress.
The city selection committee, that just happened actually last week. I will continue on that. And then County Animal Services Commission Board, Rule and Mang.
I'll stay on that.
Yeah? Ms. Mang, you're saying what?
I'll stay as an alternate.
Okay.
I never went, never did, never.
Okay.
So if you're up for that, Leslie, that works for me.
Super. Economic Development Collaborative of Ventura County.
I can stay on that, but there are a few meetings that I have to miss, so the alternate would
Mhm.
be.
I'm happy to make those meetings.
Okay.
Thank you.
Provided.
I'll
Yeah,
give
I'm
you-
happy
I'll
to
give
make
you the-
those meetings.
I'll give you the heads up.
Got it.
Sounds good. And then OBGMA, Mr. Whitman.
Yeah, I'm happy to continue.
I'm happy to
doing that.
continue as the alternate.
And I'd like to also be the representative on that, as
Ye-
I am very interested in groundwater and water tables.
You would like to be the representative instead of
would.
Mr. Whitman.
I would.
Okay. And you want to remain?
Yes.
Then then let's vote on that.
Let's vote on that.
Okay.
Let's hear a motion in a second,
Oh,
please.
you know, I'm fine with it. I
Okay.
will back off of that.
Okay. And I'm happy to stay the alternate. And is that there's a meeting on Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're attending, as far as I know.
Yep. I'm going to be there. Okay, and then the Gold Coast Transit District Board.
Yes,
Lang and
I
Rule.
will. I'll stay on that.
Okay. And Ms. Rule, alternate
yeah,
on
I'm
that?
fine with that. Thank you.
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you. And then the SCAG, Rule and Lang.
Sure.
I'm happy to be the alternate.
And if anybody wants to change, speak up. And then the Council of Governments, the VCOG, Rule, and Mang.
I'm happy to stay there.
I would
Mhm.
like to be a part of VCOG.
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
You know,
Uh-huh.
you're. I just wanted to tell Ms. Mang, you're welcome to come to the meetings as an alternate.
Okay, so one time when I reached out and they said it's one person, so if that's fine, then that's.
Oh yeah, but
I
it's
appreciate
an
that.
open meeting, and
Okay,
and
perfect.
so
was-
and I think we can easily arrange. You can sit up at the dais on some days, and I can sit in the audience.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you,
You
for
know.
that. I appreciate that. Okay,
Thank
moving
you.
on. Ventura County Transportation Commission Board, Lang and Rule.
I'll stay on that.
Yeah?
Sure.
Mayor.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Hold on a second there, Mr. Miley. I didn't receive any cards, or I certainly would have called. But yeah, please come up. I see you. I hear you.
And before we vote, we
Yeah.
will open it up for more public.
Okay.
comment.
Sorry for the interruption.
Well, do you need this to be now, or do you want to wait till the end?
No, I didn't hear what happened to the Ventura Council of Governments. My hearing aid was off.
VCOG, Ventura Council of Governments. I'm remaining on
VCOG.
VCOG. I'm remaining as the primary. Ms. Council Member Mang will be the alternate, but we can also switch off so that Ms. Mang can, also start attending as a voting member.
Would the alternative person have a vote?
If the primary member was not at the dais, so
They're
the
the
question,
stand-in.
yeah.
Okay. I would like to lobby for a reverse, that Council Member Lang become the principal person and Council Member Rule become the alternative. And here's the reason.
Well, excuse me, but VCOG is Mang, not Lang.
We're just making a proposal, but
Oh, sorry, I meant Councilman Kim Mang.
yeah, okay.
Okay, got that right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a major problem in the county right now that VCOG should be dealing with and hasn't. And that's the issue of homeless people living in cars and RVs. The county, as you know, in January 1st, adopted a zoning ordinance that prohibits any overnight parking next to orchards and row crops throughout the entire unincorporated area, pushing all RVs and cars into the cities, in my opinion. And that's something that should be taken up by VCOG now. Councilwoman or Councilmember Mang has been part of the group I started about 6 or 7 months ago. And at the moment, Help of Ojai is not able to add an administrative department to run this. So I am very much interested, and she and I have talked about having VCOG get this on their agenda and deal with it countywide. Now, Councilmember Rule, maybe that's something that you could take on, and then two of you could work on, but I think it's really imperative to do now.
I don't think it's appropriate for me to respond, but I will say that VCOG has a priorities list and has, that's decided on by by VCOG, and we are members for the city of Ojai. So, we won't. So there's two different questions there, right? So VCOG has very clear what is their purview.
Now, I guess the question is whether or not that's an issue that you, as the principal
Mr.
assigned
Miley,
person,
let me
would
interrupt
take
you.
on.
What I don't want to do is talk about what each of these agencies should or should not do. Right now, we're appointing the people. You can reach out to them anytime you want.
Okay, then I personally would like to suggest that Councilwoman Mang is become the principal assigned person.
We got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on. Let's see, where are we?
Transportation Commission.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Lang and Rule?
Yes.
You guys are good?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And then I see Sanitation District, Mr. Whitman, and then Ms. Mang.
Yeah, and actually, we're proposing to switch roles where Kim is the primary.
Yeah.
And I am the alternate.
Gosh, I think you belong in sanitary for sure. But
Take it easy.
I'm willing
Take it
to. I'm
easy.
willing to
Friends,
vote.
guys.
Yeah,
No, we're not
let's stick it
friends.
through.
We're absolutely not
Well,
friends.
and that's
along
okay.
with any
but
of you.
Let's not waste time. Okay, got it. That's fine with me. Ojai Valley Sanitation District Rule, and then myself. Have you been attending that?
I've only gone twice.
Okay.
They say no one ever attends from the city.
Because I've never, I didn't
Right,
even
that's
know
what they
about
told
it.
me. No one ever goes, but I've been twice. So
Well, I'm happy. Do you want me to be the liaison and go, or what do you think? Tell me what you're thinking.
no, I'm fine to go.
Okay.
It's just unusual to go. I mean, that's
What is that?
that's what they told me. He's like,
It's-
nobody ever comes.
Oh,
but welcome.
Wait, are they saying hardly anybody ever attends?
No, they're saying that the liaison from the city has never attended before.
Well,
That's what they told me on my first.
I'm being neglectful and not even realizing I should have gone. But I'm happy. So, do you want to take it and I'll be your alternate?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then will you let me know if you can't go?
Sure.
No, because then I'll go.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Got it.
Sounds good. And then the Green Coalition Rule, and then myself.
I want to keep that one.
Fine, and me too. And great. And then OUSD, myself, and then the alternate is Ms. Rule. Now, again, the liaison would be, I meet with them regularly if it's attend every one of their board meetings. I mean, every one of their board meetings. I won't be able to attend every single one. I try to go to every one I can go. So you guys tell me is somebody else interested in that?
I'll be the liaison. you know, I listen to their meetings, so, I mean, I watch their meetings. I don't necessarily go to them, and I would continue to watch them.
I can make more of a point of trying. I mean, if we want to keep it as is, I can reorganize my schedule because every time I go, I'm really glad I did go. I mean, go, not just watch it.
Yeah, agreed.
So let's keep it. Let's keep it as is.
There's something to be said for that.
Yep.
Got it.
Okay. And then the City of Ojai Audit Budget Committee. And right now, we're saying there's two.
Stay on that.
Yeah, I would like you to as well. And then we're saying there was 2 appointees.
Yes, and last year it was chosen to just add 1 additional.
That's interesting. That
Was,
we
it
have
that,
3.
was that for the,
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
And we had the 2 resident members of
we were
PC
talking,
and Yang.
if I remember correctly, we were talking about having 1 resident person, not, right? And then we decided no to have 2, and that's when we.
Right, we
when
can't have
Mr.
we can't have
That's what I was gonna say, we can't have
council
3
members,
council
so
members on
this
the
got
committee.
conflated a little bit. So we
No
have
problem.
2
Yeah.
resident members that are I
Right.
think they're on a 4-year term, and then you
Exactly.
have council members that can rotate every year.
So let's proceed as is.
Okay.
Okay.
And we got to change the name. It's actually now the Finance and Budget Committee.
Cool.
And we'll change that contact info, correct?
Well, right. Again, this is from last year.
No problem.
Right. This
Just
is from
checking.
this
No,
is
I
from
just have
last
to
year. We
poke.
didn't want to alter the document.
Okay,
So,
Wonderful.
It's
yeah.
already
Appreciate
changed.
Thanks.
Already changed.
Thank you.
And then last but not least, the Chamber of Commerce, we have Lang and myself.
I'm working really closely with Carla,
Same here.
so I'd like to stay on that one.
I would as well.
So, if it's appropriate for comments,
Mm-hmm.
I did get a comment from somebody from the public, and they indicated that the county has a climate pollution reduction grants committee, and and they've actually asked for City of Ojai participation. And so I think we can't ask, we can't vote on an appointment right now, but I think we should put it on for a future agenda.
Can we?
Of course.
Let's do it.
Actually, can I add to that? Because I received that same comment. So it's the CPRG and VCREA.
Right.
Those are the 2.
The
Do you have an email that details this a little bit?
Yes, I'll email.
Would you mind forwarding that to
yes.
the clerk and to me?
Yeah.
Great.
The
City attorney.
VCREA is the Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance.
Wonderful.
And they're actually asking to have the city
Lovely.
as a participant.
That sounds great.
And I know this is a little different, but I just wanted to know, with the board, I can't think of his name right off the bat, but with Whispering Oaks. So I've been dealing with the people from Whispering Oaks, and they asked, and I briefly brought this up with Mr. Harvey, and we're going to meet with you to see what the things, what the situation is there. But they're saying that all the other counties have 2 people. And so I don't know what we could do if now's the time to bring it up for that extra opening.
Is it like HUD or what would the committee be? What is it? That 2 people on?
Right, it's like a HUD
Okay.
type thing. So they feel that
Great.
I've been talking with them, so I don't know if that's something,
So we could-
wait to bring it back or what. but I
Well,
definitely
it sounds
wanna
like we
be
have a
involved.
couple different additional board
Lovely.
appointments that we can put this on there as well.
Thank
I'm
you.
hearing 2 so far, unless we forgot one. Did we forget one? 2. So
Well, 2 plus this one would be 3 if we're going to add.
So I just want to make sure, what are the 3?
There's
that we're-
2 that you guys were mentioning?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's,
So
Oh, I'm sorry. It was two different boards, not
Yeah.
one.
Two different boards,
Okay,
yeah.
so there's
Yeah.
3 that we're bringing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Good. And
I love
again,
it.
if you, Mayor Pro Tem, if you don't mind forwarding that
Sure.
email, just to make sure we get the name
absolutely.
correct. Thank you.
And then you're aware of what Ms. Mang's talking about?
Yes, she had a
Okay.
conversation with
Okay.
me about that. I do want to talk with the council member just to make sure I get
Thanks.
it correct. But yes, I do remember this conversation.
Lovely. I mean, it sounds like I'm very interested in
Right.
that.
Yeah, I'm glad that they reached out to me and being my district. I
Yeah.
thought, I'm totally willing to do
Great.
that, to meet and see.
Sounds
meet with you
fantastic.
guys to see what our duties are.
Or I
Okay.
want I want another
We'll
Whispering
learn
Oaks,
together,
man.
right?
and then one final comment.
Yeah.
I brought this up once before, but I think, and this can be for a future agenda item, but I really do think that we should, for these things that we serve on, we should do something like quarterly or at least biannual reports about, what's going on and how is it impacting.
Absolutely.
We can make that part of the same item.
Well, and also, yeah, if we could, if it in the agenda, if you saw council member reports and then committee, basically there, so we know to do
The
it.
opportunity would be during the council
Yep.
member reports. It just would be the member's obligation to say, oh, I went to the sand district
Yes.
this week, and here's
Right.
a brief report out.
Love it. Thank you. So let me do public comments before we vote. So are there any public comments on item 10 besides Mr. Miley had already come up? Anything online?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Well, I move to approve the appointments as outlined.
I'll second.
Cool.
With the caveat that we could go through and double check and make sure all these contact names are correct.
That's part of the annual
Yeah.
Great,
it
okay,
would-
thank
yeah,
you. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Whitman.
Yes?
Councilmember Mang.
Yes.
Councilmember Rule.
Abstain.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
Yes.
All right. We're close. Are you guys okay if we do these last couple of items? Are you guys okay break-wise? Okay. Moving on to item number 11, agreement with Kylie and Associates for federal advocacy.
Great, thank you. And I see
Mhm.
that Mr. Browdy has joined us as well. Thank you, Mr. Browdy. This is a proposal for an engagement for a federal lobbyist for the city of Ojai. I've had some discussions with Mr. Browdy and his associate, Mr. Lane, as well as other city managers. I do have to say at first I was a bit skeptical about this until I really dug into this and saw the amount of potential money that the city was leaving on the table, as well as realizing from some of the discussions, the conversations that we're not a part of, because we often don't know about opportunities, we don't know who to go to, we don't know the system. So through that, we came up with a proposal for a not-to-exceed contract of $36,000 to have Kylie and Associates represent the city. They've already, in the hope that they could be our representatives, they've already started working for us on matters. In fact, this week they were advocating for us for some stormwater funding for the culverts in town that we know we've been talking about we need to replace. There's a list of earmarks that we have included in this document that's on page 180 of various cities and the amount of money that they have received. Kylie and Associates is anticipating that they could get an earmark at a minimum of $500,000, potentially as much as $1.25 million in this term if we decide to go forward with them. I'd like to point out that the city attorney, her firm is familiar with them. They do work for the city of Carson. They've been successful in Carson as well. And again, Mr. Browdy is here and he can field questions. There was a long email from a member of the public with a number of questions. I reached out to Mr. Browdy last night, and I forwarded that response to the city council. So I'm not going to go through all those unless there is a specific question. And again, I would ask Mr. Browdy to answer that if council wants to. So, anything else to add on this? No. Okay, that's my short report.
Questions for staff so far?
Well, I will just say,
Yeah, please.
I'm not in support of this. I
Okay.
know in the past when we've, discussed.
It's question time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Sorry.
We have to hear public.
No, let's hear the
comments.
public. But no, that's cool. But no questions at the moment?
No.
Okay.
Well, I do have a question, and that is, do we actively, as a city or city staff, do we actively work with Salud Carbajal, our federal representative, in terms of, asking him about, programs that are available, or taking our specific issues to ask him?
We do. However, we're primarily dealing with district staff and not the congressman directly himself. And what we've found is district staff is really kind of more focused on constituent matters and interests, less on the actual decision making and the policy that goes on back in DC. So yes, we do have a receptive ear, but we often don't know what to ask. We're not aware of cycles. We're not familiar with the programs, and so we'll get sometimes a 3-page long email on a bunch of different things that we might want to consider. We don't understand what they are. It's hard for us to figure out, should we tackle this? Should we tackle that? So we don't speak the language, I guess is what I'm saying, and we're not aware of what we should be spending our time on and what we shouldn't be.
I have a question would be, if I'm thinking of this as an experiment that we will try, and how early would we get, and I don't want to anticipate results before they're realized, but how early would we get a report out on this to say, here's what progress we've attained?
Well, I'd like Mr. Browdy to
Yeah.
take that if you're okay with
Please.
that. Jason?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, pleasure to be here this evening. I actually am based here in a very cold Washington, D.C. this evening. So I grew up in Southern California, though, so I'm missing being in beautiful Ojai. How long till we anticipate the funding? So first and foremost, Congressman Carbajal and Congresswoman Brownlee, along with our two U.S. senators, Senator Schiff and Senator Padilla, will start taking requests in the month of March for funding opportunities. We will likely know if we were selected for one of those projects by later this spring. I would say by June at the very, very latest. Once we know if we've made it into the earmark process, if you would, and into one of his selections, either from the congressman or one of the two U.S. senators or Congresswoman Brownlee, that's the huge first step, and I would say we're 80% of the way there. And then about a year from now, or a little bit before that, probably around Christmas time, right around the holidays, is when we would find out, and hopefully that funding comes to fruition and actually is signed into law.
And you, from looking at the work that we are doing, you see opportunities right now that you would then pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that the city manager would love to speak with you all as well for some of your priorities, but some of the things we talked about are obviously some emergency readiness and some public signage and sirens related to both weather events and fires and things along those lines. That's right up the congressman's alley. I would say one of the biggest things is, and speaking to the congressman's office here in Washington, is that Ojai, he likes to spread the wealth across the district, and Ojai has not been a city in the past that he has given money to through this earmark process. And many of your neighboring cities have received funding, and I think he wants to spread it to Ojai. And we've been working on that and laying the groundwork. As the city manager said, we kind of been doing some pro bono work. I'm very, very close to the congressman's senior staffer who's in charge of the appropriations here in Washington, D.C., and she's told myself and the city manager that she definitely wants to see Ojai submit something. And there were no promises, but I think that she led us to believe that we have a very, very good shot, since we haven't received funding in the past from his office in this process.
And if I could just jump in really quick, one thing that we discussed with Jason and Mike, his associate, was you have 9 established goals. So we know the key areas. And we also know the tactics to support them. So we actually shared that. That is our menu that we're working from. This is what you've identified you want to accomplish.
Thank you. Any other
questions? I would just add as well, today we're working on, as Mr. Harvey said, some water projects. There's some other opportunities through the Water Resource Development Act, otherwise known as WRDA. Congresswoman Brownlee's office actually wrote back to us today saying that the Congresswoman actually is going to more than likely push forward an authorization for some funds for the water projects that Mr. Harvey spoke about a little bit earlier. We just received word about that earlier today, actually. So fingers crossed. No guarantees, but everything's looking in the right direction on that as well.
Thanks. Any other questions for staff for now? I have one public comment card. That is Bill Miley, please. As Mr. Miley's coming up, there's no additional cost beyond the $36,000 for the year. Okay.
There's also a severance clause as well. Basically, I think it's 30 days if I recall correctly.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Mr. Mayor, you answered an email I wrote you. Thank you.
I did what?
You just answered it.
Oh, okay.
But federal advocacy and funding acquisition.
like that. I've read it over. The credentials of the firm, in my opinion, are great. I love the military experience of some, and principals, staff and principals, then going to civilian work. They seem well suited for what we need, and they indicated they had produced good results. Certainly the $3,000 per month retainer is worthy. Now, I understand a retainer is to be available. Then when you work, you charge. So I don't understand what you just said. You said there's no cost in addition to the retainer. I don't understand that. And if I were them, I wouldn't do it. That's a
Mr.
lot
Harvey,
of work.
yeah, go ahead.
just to
Yes,
have
so just if I could jump in
$3,000
really quick.
coming in each month.
I do
Go ahead.
understand that that's a traditional
I'm
classic
being
definition.
interrupted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to answer your question, but I thought you were going to keep going on about the point.
I have a hearing aid and I'm really,
I'm sorry.
I'm just buzzed.
Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, I like the contract. I would like to have a little more about the retainer and the work in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Meiling.
Real quick, $3,000 a month. That's by the way, that's a discounted rate. That's not their normal charge, but they really feel strongly that they could come in and achieve some results for Ojai. That's the total amount that they will possibly receive in any given month from Ojai.
Thank you.
No more than that.
Thanks. That's my last comment card. Anybody online?
We have one raised hand that just
Thank you.
came up.
Okay.
Renee, you can unmute and you have the floor.
I do. Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
I think this is a great idea. I think the city has been handicapped by not having access to grant funding that's available at the state level and at the federal government level. I definitely feel the state level as well. The city is handicapped. You haven't been able to take advantage of and see the opportunities that we could take advantage of and that we need. We are not very far along in doing infrastructure development and planning for fire-related projects. And I think this is an area where we really need to take this seriously. And I think this is a great way to jump into having that connection with our representatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
No, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Comments, questions?
Yep.
Yes,
I'll
please.
start. So I received the public comment email that we all received, and I think the response answered many of the questions that were laid out in that. And I am in support of this. I think it's there are so many different opportunities that we don't catch, either because we don't have the staff focusing on it or because we can't get to it fast enough. I receive all these grant notices all the time, but it's usually I'm getting to open my email and see the notices, you know, when it's nearly due. And so I think this is going to help us to flag opportunities. I think it's going to help bring some money in, and this does support our overall economic diversification goal and strategy. So I am in support of this. I think it will pay for itself and then some.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm also in support of it. I think it makes a lot of sense. I do consider it to kind of be a pilot program. I appreciate the fact that you have done pro bono work. And I agree that as a small municipality, we're not equipped to lobby. We're not really even equipped, as we know, to lobby our own representatives, just simply because it's a different world for us. So I am in support of putting this sort of a pilot program, but not really, into effect. So thank you for coming to speak with us today, and I support this.
Thank you. Do you want to express your concern?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
curious, like how many other Ventura County cities similar to ours have federal lobbyists? on, on their team. I know that with federal grants, they're a lot of work. So with accounting and all of that stuff, knowing the issues that we have with the finance and all of that now, is this something that the staff would be responsible for, or does his firm handle?
So actually, if I could defer to Mr. Browdy a little bit, earmarks are a little bit different than grants, and maybe do you want to speak to that? It's not,
Sure.
They don't come with the same type of constraints.
Well, first of all, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, we also, we don't write grants, but we help identify grants. I think one of the first things we would do, for example, I actually just got off the phone a couple hours ago with, we represent the city of Upland in San Bernardino County, and their police chief is sitting down with Department of Justice to look at some possible grant opportunity funding. So we usually sit down with all of the department heads, the chief, city manager, obviously, and others, and of course, welcome anyone on the council to join these discussions as well, and sit down with our federal partners in different federal agencies. These are career folks that have been there long before this administration and want to help with finding funding opportunities for local governments. And we won't necessarily write those grants, but we'll help identify them and work with the city to get those across the finish line. When it comes to earmarks itself, earmarks are a competitive process where each member of Congress gets 15 projects to submit on various matters. It could be transportation, it could be water, it can be public safety, it could be homelessness, it could be emergency fire funding. And it's more of a popularity contest, more of it than anything. It's who you know, not what you know, unfortunately, in this process when it comes to those earmarks. And that's really how it works. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Senator Schiff and Senator Padilla also make these available as well.
Just to say, to answer Ms. Mang, so a quick search, it looks like the city of Ventura, Port Hueneme, the city of Thousand Oaks, and the county all use lobbyists. And it looks like, if this is correct, the county's budget on the lobbyists is $240,000. That's just a quick search.
And I know as well, Mr. Mayor, that Santa Paula, I believe, has someone in DC as well, and Camarillo did at one point also. So,
thank you.
But at the same time as well, I mentioned this sort of in my email back to y'all. When it comes to the earmarks, it's almost competition in a way. As I mentioned, each Congress member only gets 15 projects. So we need to make sure that Ojai shines more than anything. And that's really what we're responsible for. And we don't have any other clients in Ventura County, which I think is actually a blessing because we're not competing and our main focus can be on Ojai.
Thank you. Well,
so I have, some concerns, and part of that is that I'm not that optimistic about federal funds, and would kind of be more oriented towards investing in securing state funding, but also the idea of getting funding for a project is either good or horrible depending on what the project is. So we could get funding for a project that's gonna, create a pipeline to send all of Lake Casitas' water to LA. I wouldn't like that project. So it's a little bit.
Can I just jump in really quick?
Yeah.
Because these are our projects. When he's talking about being identified for an earmark, it would be something that our own project, not a project that's out there that is being proposed for us.
Like revamping.
So, for instance, when he was speaking of the community sirens and the message boards, those are things that you've proposed in your tactics to support that emergency. I'm calling the name of that goal wrong, but those were things you talked about, erecting two sirens, one on the east end, one on the west end, and message boards to go with it. This would be funding to pay for that.
Yeah.
So we would identify the project, he would advocate for us, and he would secure it. So it's not like that.
It's not the reverse. It's not the
reverse.
Thinking the cart before the horse.
Yeah, and the
you're
other
saying it's project. it's our project driven.
Right. We're telling them,
And-
hey, we have this
and
project.
that consulting firm assesses what our projects are and looks for the funding that might be available.
Yes, and on top of that, as he's mentioned, there are also grant opportunities that he will help us with as well, and that's one of Ms. Cervantes' jobs is the grants are. So he will do that in addition to that. But the other thing I have to say, the state government is set up completely differently. Your state assembly members and your state senators do not have access to funding like this from the state. They do not have the ability to identify projects that they want to fund, and so that's why it's quite different. Yes, I wouldn't disagree with you. We should do a better job lobbying the state, but it's going to be different. There's not going to be necessarily money coming from the state. For the state, where we need to do a better job is, for example, better access to Caltrans decision makers to help us be able to move forward on things that are important to us, like flashing beacons across Ojai Avenue that they are taking forever to approve. So but this is more access to funds.
I was thinking CAL FIRE, but
there are CAL FIRE grants, that we can certainly apply for those, but that kind of goes to what you're talking about, that sometimes it's a project that you then have to become a part of as well.
And I have not heard the term grant czar previously.
That's Ms. Cervantes and
I'm
ours,
trying
our
to make it,
great
I'm
czar.
trying to make it sound good.
No, and I want to congratulate her, Her Highness.
Yes.
I don't think she sees it as such. It's a punishment.
We're excited about it.
I guess my last comment is that, $3,000 a month doesn't sound like a huge amount of money, but there are, there's a cumulative thing that goes on when, you approve a lot of things that come through, and then you look at what you're spending on multiple projects. That gives me concern about this as well. Those are my comments.
Yeah.
I just want to say that when I met with Salud when he was in town, perhaps 3 months ago, he said, "Come to me, come to me with projects," and he told me the commissions or the where he sat, the commissions he was on, but I had no idea how to actually start that conversation, even with the absolute invitation to come to him. I did not know what or how to come to him about what. And I see this as the come to me, you're our liaison to him. I think he does want to give us money. He said there was money and to come to him. So I think I just explained it, and I didn't know how to start the conversation even, really.
Well, I'd like to move that we accept the proposal for the maximum amount of $36,000 for the federal advocacy.
I'll second it.
Cool. Any more discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
Yes.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes.
Councilmember May.
No.
Councilmember Rule.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
No.
Motion
Okay.
passes.
All right, we're getting close. We're on number 12, the proposal for economic development action plan.
Yes, thanks, Mayor, and I'd
Thank
like
you.
to invite Mr. Foster, who is in the audience, to be in the front row and available for questions.
Thank you.
Okay, this item comes to you. This supports the City Council's diversifying economy tourism management goal. In fact, you identified a tactic supporting that goal, where you said you were looking to commission an economic action plan, and that's exactly what this is. HDL Econ Solutions does this type of work up and down the state, working with municipalities, trying to figure out actionable ways to make their economic dreams come into reality, working with local businesses, working with chambers of commerce, working with the community. This is it works in concert with your general plan elements, but it is not a policy document that sits on a shelf. These are things that can move forward in the next few years to move the needle in Ojai, being specific for what you want to see in Ojai. And to that end, Mr. Foster has come up a few times, walking the town, meeting with businesses, talking to the Chamber of Commerce, and I see Ms. Ferrante is on the line with us tonight. She would be a part of this effort, but we're trying to create a way to see some things happen in the next couple years where you are seeing the type of business in town consistent with your vision for the community. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. Maybe if you don't mind, can I kick it to Mr. Foster just for
Please.
a little summary,
Yeah.
if that's okay? Mr. Foster, please.
Thanks for coming.
Sure. Yeah, as Mr. Harvey mentioned, we've done work all over the state of California, and so I think we've done a total of 20 either economic development action plans or economic development strategies or strategic plans. One of the things that we strive for is to make that action plan to be very customized to your community. We don't do cookie cutter plans, and so we really like to look at the community and understand what you're trying to achieve. And so we're looking at trying to kind of build upon the things that you have to go ahead and we're gonna seek a lot of input from people in the community, from council members, so we're trying to get as much engagement as possible and trying to understand. And as Mr. Harvey said, this is my 4th trip up to Ojai in probably the last 7 months. And so every time I come here, I get to see something a little bit different. Today I came up and actually ran through the downtown and then came back on a couple of the trails. And, there's a lot of activity you have in your downtown. But I think it's a great foundation, but I think we can also build upon that and make it even better. But looking at things that residents want and it's always really important not to just attract new types of businesses, but to keep what you have. I think sometimes you say something, forget about emphasizing business retention, especially with small businesses. There's a lot of those small businesses, when the pandemic hit, they really struggled, and a lot of them closed. So it's now been a while since the pandemic ended, but those small businesses, they're still struggling. And so we're looking at ways that we can really kind of help them make the environment right, but also, understand the history and the uniqueness that this community has, and we'll build that into this plan. And again, we're going to seek a lot of thoughts and ideas from people. In talking to Carla the other day, she's a huge resource, and so I think we would certainly want to have a relationship with her and understand that and use her because she's here. And I've got a couple of folks that live close by here, and they come to Ojai a lot. But I think we're going to really kind of understand what Mr. Harvey talked about is looking at things that we can do to really help make the community even better, but understanding kind of the balancing act in terms of tourism, and certainly that's an important driver in terms of revenue for your community through sales tax and TOT and bed tax and all those kinds of things, but trying to manage that too and understand what kind of works here in Ojai. And again, it's looking at how unique this community is and kind of building upon it. So there's a lot of things that this is a 3-year economic development action plan that we're going to develop, and so it's not 300-page strategy that sits up on a shelf. It's really meant to be an action document, and looking at we'll come up with performance indicators and goals and objectives, and those sometimes change a little bit. So I think it's coming back after probably a year and a half and looking at what worked, but maybe we have to pivot and do some different kinds of things. And so we again want to make this very customized and fit this community, because there's a lot of positive things. There's a lot of things that make this community very unique and special, and we want to just build upon that.
Thank you.
So I have a follow-up question on that, and I'd just like you to elaborate, because you mentioned some concepts that I was happy to hear, because I didn't exactly get that out of the staff report, which is the idea. I mean, I have a concern that are we a town for the residents who live here and have this our home, or are we a town for visitors? You know, and I know the visitor economy is the drive, you know, that's what supplies our funds, but what, you know, what makes people want to live here is that, you know, is a lot of open space and, you know, kind of a different vibe. And you talked about, you know, the concept that if I heard you right, you know, your goal is to harmonize those things. And so I guess what I'd ask you is, you know, how would you, you know, work out an economic development plan that includes the protection of what some people feel is an eroding quality of life?
Yeah, that's a great question, and so I think it's a careful balancing act in looking at how you can kind of, your word about harmonize things and try to you know, take into some of those thoughts and ideas from residents, what they want to see, but then also working with your business community and other things that you can, you know, help from an economic standpoint, help the community flourish. And so I think it's a careful balancing act, and you know, you were kind of right on in terms of we want to hear from lots of folks as we put this plan together, but it's a mix of everything, really.
Just piggybacking on that, my interest also, besides that, or in addition to that, is that we can weather a COVID or a Thomas fire with more resiliency, not so dependent on tourism. Even if we move that 5%, something like that, that would be gigantic. So I see that economic diversification is in the proposal here, and that's something I know a lot of us have talked about at length, is what can we do as a council to support that activity for more businesses catering to our residents, run by our residents.
Absolutely, Mayor.
Yeah.
I think that's important. That again, that's that balancing act that we're putting together in this plan. It's going to be very special and unique to recognize things here.
Part of, if I could just jump in,
Yeah,
part
sure.
of, because I've been involved in these before, part of what comes about with these is sometimes it's an ask of the city, right? We've been talking to local businesses, and this is what they've identified as a real hindrance. It's something that maybe it's an ordinance we have in place, maybe it's a zone we have in place. So there will be parts of it where we come back to you. You want to make your local businesses thrive more, or you'd like more local businesses that serve residents well. If that's the case, then here are some steps you can take.
Like an incubator, I see that in the
Like an
proposal.
incubator
Yeah.
is sure, right.
Sure, I
Right.
see, yeah.
Right, or actively recruiting a certain, you know, we don't have a shoe repair place in town. Okay, well we've identified 10 that are in Ventura. What would it take for one of these to relocate up here? What type of, you know, incentives might be, because you might have to talk about those types of things.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, I just,
Go.
you mentioned that you would be speaking to each of the council members, because as you can see, we have very different opinions around, you know, what economic development means and how it might work. So I'm assuming that that is the case, that you will be speaking to every council member. Because this is something we've been doing for years now. We've been having workshops. We've been talking to people. We've been thinking broadly, you know, how do you diversify, you know, the economy if you don't have housing, you know, things like that. And I don't know how broad you plan to go with that. But I think, you know, just ensuring that you do speak to every council member, because everyone has thought about this from a different perspective. And I think it would be helpful to try to merge all of those perspectives, and that might be something that would be real value add for us.
Absolutely. We're going to talk to all the council members and get your thoughts and ideas, and we're going to work with Carla and the Chamber of Commerce and understand. I think has a huge resources to utilize her for that, but then get out and talk to your business community too. And so I think you know, we're gonna hit the ground running, and we're gonna spend some time up here. I've spent time up here already, but I really enjoy coming up here. I think you've got a great foundation to build upon, but there's some things that I think we've learned in other places too that can kind of help improve it a little bit.
Thank you.
One more question. So, you know, not necessarily on the economic development question, but on, you know, a lot of issues where we or our consultants have sought public, you know, resident input on, you know, programs or ideas. And, you know, the residents, seems like it's a little bit hard to get them to come and provide their input. And yet, you know, for me personally, I want to hear from them, you know, more. So do you have ideas about how to stimulate and generate those residents to participate?
I think we're gonna at least include a survey in there and give people opportunities to respond to that survey. But if you have thoughts and ideas on how to get out to people too, but we want to get as much input as possible.
Okay.
So yeah, it sounds like there's some detail. You'll be working with us about ideas to get the word out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, you folks live here, and we certainly want to hear from you and utilize your expertise.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I just want to say that I've found Carla to be just really on top of all the way from incubating to the El Roblar, you know what I mean, to our top businesses. So I have trust in that if she's a sort of a integral member of this, because we've spoken about individuals and how they could build, a sustainable life for themselves, an artist or whomever, a craftsperson. So I just want to give a kind of a shout out for that. And, that sways me quite a bit that she's integral to this process.
Yeah, the other day the city manager and I spent about an hour with her talking to her, and she's got a lot of energy. She's got a lot of enthusiasm. You could tell how much she loves this community, and so I think we certainly want to utilize that expertise, and I think that'll just make it that much better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to public comments. I have two cards: Larry Steingold and Bill Miley. We're almost done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Economic development. What is the definition of development? For me, 40 years in commercial real estate brokerage was to sell any building, build anything, put it anywhere the client wanted. So does economic development in Ojai mean construction on every vacant piece of commercial dirt? Because that's how you build more sales. You need more buildings, you need more stores, more businesses to bring in more sales. Because you can keep raising prices, that'll bring in more sales to some point. We can have more people during the week. Do we want more hotel guests during the week? Not me. I like them when they go home. Okay, they go home on Sunday, they come back on Friday. It's great. If that's enough to support the town, that's wonderful. I understand economic diversification because we cannot rely 100% on guests paying very high prices for clothes that nobody wants to wear here because there's no place to go. I think it's great. I got rid of all my suits. More retail sales. Or we can have them build more hotel rooms. I understand because of a meeting I went to that somebody's looking to annex the Ojai retreat and have more hotel rooms. Great. That's wonderful. That's one way to get more hotel rooms. That was from the general manager at the chamber event. So we can get more hotel rooms. We get more guests. They stay, but they go home. Okay. More retail stores. Where are we going to build them? What other businesses generate income? You got 14 acres on Maricopa. You got some acreage on Ojai Avenue that have been approved for cannabis lounges and some other vacant lots. And do what Mr. Harvey said. Go through the laws and regulations and make it easier so people can do stuff based on what is there. If they want to come for extra permits, they want to come for extra usage or some sort of thing they want to change, that's a whole nother story. But get out of the way of people who want to do business normally. But don't bring in more people. We have no place to put them on the roads. Okay? I mean, it's going to be a real problem. We create more business, we create more traffic. Well, so, I mean, it's a catch-22. So maybe diversify, I dare say, look at the 14 acres maybe, because it's outside the city, if that's how you're going to bring in retail traffic and have housing or something. But other than that, I don't know what you're going to be building for more businesses, because we need a cobbler. The rents are too high. How much can you pay to repair a shoe? If gas goes to $10 a gallon, Vaughn's and Raines and Ben Franklin and Coast to Coast and Ace and all the other stores will do wonderful business because now freight will cost too much. So maybe that's Plan B because that's what's supposedly coming. So at least plan, but please don't call it economic.
Thank you, Mr. Steingold. Mr. Miley, please.
Hello. I too know Carla Ferrante, the new CEO, and like her a lot. So much so that I accepted her offer to go to the breakfast tomorrow morning and listen to an economic report on the past, present, and future of the Ojai Valley. Also, I accepted her offer of a non-business membership in the chamber, which I paid for today for $200. But cooking, I did run the Miramati Laundromat for 19 years, so we have a private business experience. Economic Development Action Plan, I like it. I've been lobbying for something like this for a long time. I have been pleased with the results of city administration and council. This company, already known to us through contract TOT revenues, management, I should say, is a good addition for such economic planning and development. And there's a section in the contract that I like, it's about 10 lines long. Quote, our approach is grounded in the latest industry knowledge, emphasizing market realities and identifying revenue opportunities essential for sustaining and enhancing the city's tax base. And we got a big tax base, and we need maybe different sources of tax. With a proven track record, we are committed, they said, to delivering a comprehensive and integrated plan that aligns with the city of Ojai's goal, personalized, and small town feel. How could it not be better? While fostering economic growth and supporting both new and existing businesses in Ojai. Please note that we tailor and customize every economic development plan to fit with the community we are working with. That seems to me coming from, and I like that a lot. I fully support the contract. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Miley. We're nearing the end of our time. If we
Mayor?
want to have oh, sorry, go ahead.
We have a raised hand.
Go,
on Zoom.
please. Sorry.
We have Renee. Thank you, Mayor.
Go ahead, Renee.
Renee, you have the floor.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I was very happy to see this on the agenda. I think it is important to think strategically about our future, and I think we need to have things written down and spelled out because our institutional memory is lacking due to staff turning over and the idea that we can invest in something that's really going to focus on our economic base and where we could be going or options for new ways, I think is just so important. I think this could be a foundation for any future city council member to look at and embrace on what are we going to do? What are the options? And I just want to say that I do think that the initial time when this was brought up, I remember Mayor Gilman talking about the creative economy. They wanted to work with the artists in the community and how to encourage a creative community that embraces many different segments, not just the downtown businesses, but many different areas in our very creative, beautiful place that we live. So I hope also that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, because Ramey and Associates started the general planning process, and they spent a lot of time doing a visioning workshop. So I want this to go on the record. They have a visioning workshop. They spent probably 2 or 3 hours, and they let people go in and make comments about what they thought were important. And that visioning workshop, they recorded it, it's online, and all those comments are available. It's a little outdated now, but I think that's a model for how you could go out and get information and community engagement. I thought it was brilliant. I wasn't there, but to go back and read it and see it, it's there for the permanent record. And I think that's an important thing that we need going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
I guess what I want to propose to the team here is,
sorry. I need to interrupt. We have another raised hand from Teal.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Teal, you have the floor and you may unmute.
Thank you, Teal Rowe, Ventura County. What I'd like to say is less corporation and more artists. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all, Mayor.
I got it. That was worth it. Just to say, if we think we want to talk a long time, then I want to postpone and continue this next week. If we think we're close, let's finish. So I'm doing a little temperature check with the group here.
Okay, I can, if I put a motion on the table, that could perhaps speed things along.
I love it.
I was one of the council members who initiated this proposal and working with the team. And it's for the reason that we heard about from Teal and from others, and and from Council Member Whitman, it's so that we can support the businesses in our community, the individuals, the artists, the creative economy, and also so that we could identify potential opportunities for bringing more new revenue sources into our community. And so that we're not so dependent on tourism. That's something that we've discussed over and over again. So I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with executing a contract to create the comprehensive economic development action plan.
I'd second that.
And for Larry, I'd also like to add the word management to the title.
Fine. Yeah, it's second for me.
So I do want to add just briefly to the discussion, and first of all, the idea that every time we grant one of these contracts, there's an accumulation to our budget, and so I do have concern about that. But I'm also going to say that when I read through the staff report and the materials, I was concerned that talking about successes that this business has had in some of these other locations, the locations didn't sound very much like Ojai, and so that caused me some pause. But it's possible that I forget your name, but the principal that spoke to us tonight was told what he needed to say to get me interested in what they're doing. So I could have been snowed, but actually, I thought what you said gave me, some hope that this is going to advance things in the directions that I'm interested. And so, it's not easy. It's not an easy decision to make on my part, but I have some optimism for what this planning might do for the city. And my only other thing that I would say is that I echo the thoughts about Carla, and maybe my orientation towards Carla Ferranti is a little bit different, but I think that she's been the best advocate for community that I've heard coming from the chamber over the past several years, and I'm very impressed with her and her attitude towards our community.
Thank you.
So I am actually gonna support something that I wasn't inclined to coming in.
Thank you. Shall we do a roll call then? Okay.
Motion understood. Mayor Pro Tem Lang,
Yes.
Councilmember Mang.
I'm gonna vote no, just because of the, the money. I wish, if this could be postponed, if my vote makes a difference to know with our budget and all that stuff and not having our goals and tactics worked out. If there's something that I know that was important to me that we couldn't fund because of this, I would be a little upset. So that's my reason for voting no.
Okay.
Councilmember Rule,
Yes.
Mayor Gilman,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
So, Ms. Holman, what is it going to mean to postpone your item? What is that something that you need to happen tonight? Can it happen in 2 weeks? What, tell us.
This, if I could really quickly, this is money you've already approved in your budget.
Can we do it in 10 minutes? Do it.
Okay. So what's in front of you is really just an administrative remedy.
Okay.
We carry forward in October, council approved the carryover of funds that you approved in 24-25 for this contract. Unfortunately, that we had a termination date of June 30th, 25. Just due to workload, we haven't been able to touch the contract. So I'm bringing it for you now to be able to take advantage of the funds that you've already approved that are already in the budget to focus primarily on the employee handbook, some policy improvements, and the salary survey. I'm available for questions.
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion.
Let's take a public comment. Mr. Miley?
If I'm going to come here, I'm going to comment on everything, almost. Since this is an extension and the money has already been allocated, seems really evident that it should be made legal. I like a statement by the staff in the report. It kind of gave a picture of what this is about. This is from our staff. Approving amendment number 2 with MRG will allow the city to complete impactful tasks that are beneficial to both employees and city administrations, including but not limited to the completion of a revised employee handbook, revised personnel policies, and other projects. I like this.
Great. I heard a motion being, is there anybody online?
No raised hands, thank you.
Ms. Rule, you were going to make a motion?
Sure. I make a motion that we approve.
The amendment to the
Amendment.
professional services agreement?
Yes, the amendment to.
Second. Any more discussion?
Nope.
Roll
Great.
call.
Okay.
Councilmember Rule,
Yes.
Mayor Gilman,
Yes.
Councilmember Mang,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Now, we're going to go into the closed session. I see there's one public comment from Larry Steingold on going into the closed session number 14.
Good evening. This is about the real estate transaction that is obviously being discussed regarding Chaparral. So without me knowing anything, to me, it's either a purchase or a lease, or you're financing it, or you're subleasing, or you're taking part of the action on the apartments, or something that you're doing that is going to obligate us to some sort of burden for the next, I don't know how many years. Whether it's a mortgage or a tax payment, the question is, are we going to get presented a fait accompli where it's like we made this great deal, we have no choice, and we're backed into it? Or is this sort of an optional, gee, we can buy a piece of this, we can lease that, we can do this, this is why we're doing this? Because right now, you're negotiating on a piece of land over here, you're negotiating on a piece of land over there, now it's on this one, and it's all under the cover of, why do we want these pieces of property? I mean, it's a lot easier to sell something if you've got a reason that people want to buy it. or you're trying to sell it to the public? Is it for a parking lot? Is it for, we're going to take it over and lease it out to incubator space and do the farmer's market and lease part of it back to the school, and they're going to have money and we'll control housing or something? Why? What? I mean, I have no problem committing to this. I mean, I live here. I want to stay here. Okay? I want a solvent city. But if you're going to take on a burden of $500,000 or $250,000 or $30,000, it affects something down the road. And is it going to become a millstone around our neck? So I just want to know what we're trying to accomplish for some reason, just so that we know that our road's going to get paved. What low-hanging fruit is going to not be accomplished because we're committing to the village, the new village at the Park of Public Works? We're committing to this, we're committing to that. When the money hits when we have the shortfall, what's going to suffer? So just give us a heads up, because if it's not going to be a mortgage that they can take back or lease, it's an obligation. Anyway, thank you. I just want to be informed so we know what's coming.
Thank you. Anybody online?
No, Mayor.
Great. We will adjourn to the closed session.
And just really quick, I want
Yeah.
to make sure council's aware, we will be reporting out after this. And so for Mr. Hahn and Mr. Montgomery, thank you for sticking
geez.
around. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, the report out from the closed session is that the city council provided direction to real property negotiators related to the properties located at 414 East Ojai Avenue and 450 East Ojai Avenue, and also direction to return to council for a further closed session to finalize the city's negotiating terms. And no action was taken on the second closed session item.
Thank you very much. Any council member reports?
I do.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to report out that I was in Sacramento last week for the Community Services Policy Committee and the California League of Cities Academy. And I also had a number of meetings that to try to open up some advocacy opportunities for Ojai, and also some opportunities for us to connect with other legislators. And I'll be sharing, and I also learned a lot about the legislative priorities for this session. So I'm sure I will have more things to report as I continue following up with the people that I connected with last week.
My quick report is that the MLK Day was really successful. Everybody was really happy about it, and it'll be our regular ongoing event now, I'm sure, in the bowl. And we're working on the idea of having a citywide student panel that's sort of like 2 hours long, where we hear from the student concerned. So more, as soon as that starts to form, we'll see that. But it was very, very successful. Any other council member reports? Under future agenda items, this is the only one I want to bring up, and I'm hoping you will consider it, and that it's this. I was very discouraged by the events of the weekend related to immigration, and there is a case right now. It's Vasquez Perdomo, and that is basically a bunch of LA County cities got involved in, it's basically the due process infringement from the 14th Amendment. Also, the city of Santa Paula has signed on to it, and the city of Oxnard. So I did talk with those mayors last week. I would like to, with some support from you, task the city attorney just to look at what would it take to be a part of that suit, even if it's just an amicus brief or something like that, because it's in process, but to register our, if we agree, our deep concern with due process violations. So you had a little bit of information about that you've, if you want to report out on just what little you do know.
I can just share that I am aware that there is a law firm, Munger, Tolles & Olson, that is representing 22 Southern California cities. And if the council is supportive of and I should add that they are representing those cities, I believe, pro bono. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, if it's the cities or city council's preference that you you would like to, and this would come back as a future council item, but
Mhm.
if there's support for bringing this back as a future council item, we can provide more information and what that might look like at a future meeting.
Does that seem reasonable?
I would support that.
Okay.
I would too. Yeah.
Okay. Of course. The case is publicized. You can look at the case right now if you want to. It's at the Supreme Court. But thank you for the support, and we'll come back and see what we need to do.
And on that same note,
Yeah.
I am in the process of putting together a forum, town hall that is community, local law enforcement, and ICE, so that we can actually talk to law enforcement and find out, regardless of what their position is, and what the citizens and community of Ojai and the nearing valley can expect from them. And given it's becoming more timely, I've talked to Chief Jenkins will be the representative for Freihoff is also invited, and
Mhm.
Salute has been invited to probably come in via Zoom.
Mhm.
And there are other plans around what this will look like, which I'm happy to share as they emerge. There is already, sort of a format and an idea behind it. So I've talked extensively with Chief Jenkins, and he's given me some suggestions on what it should look like.
Great.
And the idea is a safe space. The community needs to know where local law enforcement stands and what they can expect or not expect. And I don't know if you guys saw my letter to the editor, but I recommended to the police department that at every time that there is a sighting of ICE at all, that they should contact ICE and actually document this. And whether or not ICE gives them an answer, it should be, we contacted them on this date to find out about this. We did not get a response, and that should be sent to the Attorney General as a way to start recording what is actually going on. So if there is a time when it comes that we need to have the record is at least there. Chief Jenkins was very supportive of that, and this was prior to the shootings in Minneapolis. So my guess is their perspective may be changing a little bit on,
So-
on those kinds of things. So anyway, I just wanted to
Forthcoming.
let you know that I am putting that together as we speak.
Okay.
And it will be hosted by the city, but it will not be a city council meeting. It will not be a special meeting. It will just be a community forum.
Okay.
Where people get a voice.
Thank you. Okay, with that, meeting adjourned.